Hi, Stuart. Hi, Zed. Good morning, guys. The porch. Look at everything's drying out. All the cushions are soaking wet. But the floor got washed. I think that's God's way of telling me I need to clean the patio. Hey, Zed. Hey, Stuart. No, you can't. It's Florida weather. Sometimes it rains sideways. It's all good. How you doing, guys? Welcome, welcome. We could not go to the beach this morning because it was raining. So, cheers, guys. Cheers. Hi, Devin. Hey, Devin, how you doing? Good morning. Stuart's good. Good, good, good. All right, let me start at the beginning. Stuart says first, and he says, hello, Daisy May. Zed says, good morning, Zed. Good morning, Stu. Fisherman's Lodge says, how's the porch? I showed you that. Stuart says, hey, Zed. Stuart says, I still blame the HOA. I like your thinking. I like it. Devin says, good morning. Hey, Devin. Zed says, hi, Fisherman. Fisherman's Lodge says, I'm good. He also says, hey, Devin. Tina, hi, Tina. Tina's here, everybody. Fisherman's Lodge, I have a question. What's a Leatherman? It's a multi-purpose tool. I have two of them, actually. A Leatherman, it's a tool with a whole bunch of, it's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. Is it a fish or a rod? Oh, that I don't know. Maybe you're talking about some other Leatherman. Tina says a storm seems to be coming. Yep, it was already raining this morning. Ann says, psst, hey, you're in the bushes. Anything happening? Hi, Ann. Good morning, girl. That's a universal tool, pliers. Yes, a universal tool. Yep, Leatherman. That's what I would say. Yep, a universal tool, pliers. That says I prefer Gerber. Gerber. Yeah, I don't know. So, my leader at work gave me a Swiss Army knife. I think that's what it is. Devin says probably a knife, Stuart. Ann says, shucks, I tried to be unseen. You can't go unseen, young lady. You're too beautiful. And I ran your content all day yesterday. I ran you all day. I ran the Grind with Nicole all day. I ran Lee Magnetic North all day. My life Sunny Side Up. She says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sunny Side Up. How are you? Good morning, good morning. And you know what? Happy Tuesday, June 3rd. Did you see today's video? I tried something new. No, not yet. Don't worry about the caps. No worries. I did not. What did you try? Hi, Jamie Brown. Jamie's here. Jamie says, hi, Daisy May. Hello, Jamie Brown. And to you, it's good afternoon, right? Good afternoon in the UK. Everybody say hi to Jamie Brown. Minnie's here. Hi, Minnie. She says hello again from the Philippines. Hello, Minnie. Happy Tuesday. My Life Sunny Set Up said hi to Jamie and hi to Minnie. And dropped the link. Thank you, Anne. Have a peek. Have a peek. All right. In order to do that, Anne, I have to get on my tablet and go to my stream. And then take a peek. Have a peek, everybody. Minnie says happy Tuesday, too. Hope you're doing fine. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Minnie. I am doing good. Jamie says hi, Sunny Side Up. Darren's here. Darren says, good morning. Good morning, Darren. Good morning. Minnie says, hi, my life. Oh, sunny side up? Mm-hmm. And Darren's here, too. And isn't that the video you sent me? Anne says, I narrated my own little story in my voice. Oh, I can't listen to it out loud. Okay. Village of Fernmere. Handmade and homegrown. Good morning, Miss Daisy Mae. Good morning, handmade and homegrown. Minnie says, done connecting with Anne. Oh, you'll love Anne. She's cute and funny. Anne says, I narrated my own story. I will definitely watch it later so I can listen to it. Definitely. Looks really cute though, Anne. My Life Sunny Side Up says, good morning, homegrown. I will definitely watch it, Anne. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday, June 3rd. It's June 3rd, you guys. Minnie says, what a beautiful view. Well, thank you. Thank you. Everything is all wet. It's been raining. Jamie says hi to Darren. Jamie says hi, Anne. Anne says hi, Minnie. Handmade, Darren. My Life Sunny Side Up, and Jamie. Good job, everyone. Anybody got plans today? Anybody doing anything fun? Going anywhere? Going on vacation? Maybe a doctor appointment or dentist appointment? Anybody? Anything? Handmade and Homegrown says hello to Anne. Whoops. Berry. And tacos, yeah, Taco Tuesday. Anyone eating tacos? We gotta pen that. It is Taco Tuesday. Hi, Berry. Good morning. He says, good morning, Daisy Mae. Anne says, hi, Berry. Anne says, I need real feedback, so if it's not good, I don't waste time making another. I'll watch it later. I gave you feedback on the song, but I was like a week late. I love the song, and I'm sure it's great, Anne, but I will watch it. Everybody, Anne dropped a link. Go watch her video she dropped, and let her know how you like it. Barry says, hello, Anne, and happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you. Happy Tuesday to you. Da, 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 da. You done shared, Daisy? Thank you, Minnie. Aw, Minnie, you're so sweet. Thank you for being here. Minnie says, Berry, hi from the Philippines. She's in the Philippines. Berry's here in the U.S. Our friend Anna's from Turkey, yeah. Handmade and homegrown. Where are you from? Let's go find out. Oh, I don't see a location. Anne says, I'm not the kind that gets upset about constructive criticism, so throw me with it. Barry says, hello to the Philippines. Seti's here. Hi, Seti. Good morning. Seti says, hi, Berry, and hi to Anne. Barry says, hi back. Yeah, it looks like it's going to rain today and part of tomorrow too. So welcome, welcome everybody, and good morning, good morning, good morning. I have Daisy right here with me, you guys. Want to see her? Isn't she just the cutest? Hi. What are you doing? Say hi to everybody. Say hi. You're so beautiful. She doesn't even have a care in the world. Barry says, I'm doing good, Seti. How are you? Handmaid says, adorable. Toolman, hey, good morning. Ann says, I'm good, Seti. Ann says, I don't get upset. I just take revenge. Just joking. She says, just joking. Oh, we got to pin you, Ann. That's too funny. Seti says, hi, Toolman. Hi, handmade and homegrown. Corey says, hi, all. Hi, Corey. How are ya? Minnie says, hi to Seti and handmade. Corey says, hi, Ann. Seti says, Barry. Same to you. Minnie says, hi, Corey. Hi, Abigail. How's Abigail? It's Daisy. Toolman says, good morning, Barry. Ann says, that's a saying my dad used to say. Wish you could see people's faces when he did, though. I love it. It's funny. Corey says, hi, Minnie. Handmaid says, good morning, Seti. Corey says, I am okay, mate. Well, welcome, Corey. Thank you for being here. Ann says, hi to Corey's. Seti says, hello, Minnie sister. Seti says, hi, Corey's Outdoor Adventures. Abigail says, hi, Minnie. Handmaid and Homegrown says, good morning, Minnie. Corey says, hi, Seti. Seti says, hi, Abigail. Minnie says, hi, Abigail. And Ann says, hi, Abigail. Good morning. I got 2K yesterday. Great, Abigail. Congratulations. Congratulations. Seti says, Corey's Outdoor Adventures, how are you? Minnie says, hi, Jamie. Andy, hi, Andy. Hi, Daisy, is that your boat? No, it's not. No, it's not my boat. Ann says, guess what? What's up, Ann? What's going on, Ann? Abigail's doing amazing. Great, Abigail, we love you. Corey says, I'm okay, mate. You, Seti? Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday. We have a lot of clouds going on today. It says hubby and son has Thursday, Friday, and Monday off, so very long weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Oh, and you're going to do something fun? I hope you are. Andy says, hi, Abigail. Corey says, hi, Andy. Sonal's here. Hi, Sonal. Corey says, hi, Andy. Andy says, hi, Corey. Ann says, I hope so. I hope so too, Ann. Hi, Sonal. Sonal says, hey, Daisy May with emojis. Hey, Sonal, how are you, my friend? Corey says, don't forget to like and subscribe, everyone. Thank you, Corey. Seti says, Corey, same to you. Sonal says, hi, everyone. Sonal's here. Good morning, good morning. Ann says, hi, Andy. How are you this afternoon? Seti says, hi, Andy. Sadie says, hi, Sonal's all about freedom. Abigail says, hi, Sonal. Barry Bear says, I really love the word plethora. It means a lot to me. Oh, yes, it does. Andy says, hi, Sadie. Sonal says, hi, Sadie. Sonal says, hi, Abigail. Abigail says, hi, Barry Barry. Oh, Barry Barry. Abigail says, hi, Barry Barry. A plethora. Barry says hello to Abigail. Lisa smiles a lot. Barry says, hello, Abigail. Sonal says, hello, Barry Barry. And says, don't forget to press the like as I did. Yes, hit that like button. Thank you. Please and thank you. Barry says, hello, Sonal. Lisa says, good morning, everyone. Corey says, hi, Barry. Ann says, hi, Lisa. Barry says, good morning, Lisa. Abigail says, hi, Lisa. Hello, Lisa smiles a lot. How are you, beautiful? Sonal says, I keep thinking that plethora means plasma. No, it means a bunch of stuff. It means a bunch, like a variety, like a plethora, like a lot, like all kinds of stuff. Sadie says, hi, Lisa. Sadie says hi to Lisa. Ann says, geez, seems I was the only one that forgot. That's okay. Daisy, go ask if you can borrow the boat for half an hour. What can possibly go wrong, right? That's a big boat. Lisa says, I'm just getting up. Sonal says, hi, Ann, and hi to Andy. And hi to Lisa. Andy says hi to Sonal. I say hi, everyone. Ann says, Kelly, watch out for Andy. Big charmer he is. I like Andy already. Yeah, he's always in your trivia, isn't he? Sean Films is here again. Hey, Sean. Welcome. He says, hey, Daisy. Seti says, handmade and homegrown. I support you. Thank you, Seti. Someone says, I'm glad Lisa's here. I need to smile a lot. Aw, that's too cute not to pin. And says, yes, and always rage quitting. LOL. Stuart says, hello. The Fisherman's Lodge is here. Everybody say hi. Andy said, well, hi, Kelly. Well, hello, Andy. Sean says, how are you doing, Daisy? I'm good. How about you, Sean? Happy Tuesday. The Fisherman's Lodge says, hello, everyone. Hello, Stuart. How are you, buddy? Everybody say hi to Stuart, the Fisherman's Lodge. Sonal says, hi, Stuart. Sean says, hey, Sonal. Andy says, Ann, all lies, take it back. Sean says, I'm good, Daisy. Good. I'm glad to hear that you're doing good. Welcome. I feel a sneeze coming on you guys. Excuse me. Ann says, I'm sorry, Andy said, Ann, I'll take it back. Sean says, hey, Sonal. Ann says, Kelly, Andy is cute, but he knows it. He's cute and he knows it. Awesome. He says, hi to Sean Film Vids. Lisa says, bless you. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. I felt it coming on. Thank you, Lisa. Sean Film Vid says, hey, Seti. Sean says, hey, Seti. Andy says, LOL, Ann, stop trying to make me blush. I'm shy and quiet. And Ann says, ha, 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 Andy. Does she know different, Andy? Sorry, I'm bumping the camera. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. Innocent Moments, hi. Hi, Innocent Moments, welcome. Seti says, hi, Innocent Moments. Andy says, she knows too much, Daisy. I bet she does. I'll bet she's not talking, though. Someone says, the W in Andy's name means wonderful because he's always wonderful. Andy Wonderful, I like it. Sono, I like it. Innocent Moments says, P2 says hello. Oh, hello to P2. Sono says, hi, Innocent Moments. Andy says, Sono, oh, you're the best. Sono's great, you guys. And so are all of you. Sono says, hey, Andy. Sean says, hey, Andy. Andy says, hi, Sean. Ann says, Mrs. Tantrum is using a new technique now. She goes to the balcony and cries like a baby to make me soft so she can get treats. She's too smart, Ann. Is it working? Does it work? That's so cute. Innocent Moment says, hi to Seti. Hi, Seti. Welcome. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Someone says, I'm the compliment king, not a typo king. You're both, Sono. Sean says, I see you, Sono. Sean says, LOL. Ann says, I can't say no when they cry, and she figured that one out now. Yeah, she owns you, Ann, and she knows it. And that's okay. Our animals can own us, right? Daisy owns me. You love that kitty cat, and she loves you. Sono laughs. Ann's funny, you guys. Take a chuckle. Take a listen. And says, I had to stand at the chick box for hours because the moment I move, they scream. Oh no, Anne, really? Aw. Are they scared, maybe? Or they just love you that much? I mean, how can you not love you that much, right? Everybody? Anne's great. You guys know that. Phew, 2 days that went on, but then I realized they're manipulating me. Yes, they are, Anne. Yes, they are. Animals do that to us. They do. We have a soft spot, especially you have a soft spot for the animals. Look at how many you have. And says, I ignored for an hour and now they stopped. It's like a crying baby, right? If a crying baby is fed and changed and burped and all that stuff, you're supposed to let them cry. Sono is not like my dog who slaps me with his tail. Oh, Sono, that's so cute. Lisa says Sono is a wonderful guy. Yes, he is. Pin that too, Lisa. I'm just pinning away today. Bradley. Good morning, Bradley. He says, good morning, sweetheart. Good morning, Bradley. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. Happy Tuesday. Bradley, how are you today? I hope you're doing good. Sono says, hi, Bradley. Bradley says, I'm doing okay. I'm glad you're doing okay because okay is better than not okay. Sono says, thanks, Lisa. You're wonderful too. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Ann says, don't believe everything Google says. It said if they scream, they need their mommy, so I thought I had to go stand there. Really? I've never heard that. That's just what everybody said when I had babies. Like they couldn't settle down. You know what I mean? I couldn't let my babies cry that long. Because they're only babies for such a short time, right? Sono says, thanks, Lisa. You're wonderful. Bradley's doing good. Sono says, hi, Bradley. Andy says, LOL, Ann. Bradley says, good morning, Sono. How are you doing? Sono says, LOL, Ann. Steady says, hi, Bradley. Ann says, yeah, we live and learn, don't we? We do, right, Ann? If you could go back and do it all over again, you'd know so much more. Bradley says, good morning, Seti. Mom Dog. Hey, Mom Dog. Hi, Molly. She says, good morning, Kelly and Chat. Hey, Mom Dog. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Good morning. The day is starting off good. Look at, I got my regular cup back. And tea in it. For tea, for two, and tea for you, and two for me. Bradley says, hey, Mom Dog. Hello, Mom Dog. How are you doing, Molly? I hope everyone's having a good Tuesday morning so far. Bradley, I'm having tea this morning. Well, cheers, Bradley. Hey, cheers, buddy. We enjoy a cup of tea. Enjoy. Mom Dog says, hi, Bradley. Lisa says, good morning, Mom Dog. And says, Kelly, my oldest will not sleep unless he is in the pram and it's moving. I used to put it next to my bed, one leg out pushing the pram. When I fall asleep, he'd scream for me to go on. Oh my goodness, Anne, really? Well, that's your oldest, right? We do all those silly things with our oldest ones, with our first ones, right? Mom Dog says, hi, Lisa. Andy says, Miss Daisy, you and Ann should sing a duet. Maybe we will, Andy. Maybe someday we will. You never know. Thank you, everyone, for stopping in. 8 people here. Thank you, guys. 24 thumbs up. Thank you for the love, too. And says, yeah, I learned the hard way. I know, right? We do. We learn the hard way. That's why, like, my kids, I thought I learned the hard way. Oh, my kids were twice as bad as me. Twice as bad. Bradley says, good morning, Lisa. I have an aunt named Lisa. Auntie Lisa. We have Auntie Lisa and Uncle Larry. Auntie Lisa and Uncle Larry. And sounds like Tina Turner. That's so cute. Anne sounds like Tina Turner. I love it. I love it. That's so good. Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. Anne says, is that bad, Andy? LOL. Lisa says, good morning to Bradley. Good morning, Bradley. Handmade and homegrown. I'm listening while I'm getting breakfast. Well, thank you. Thank you, Handmade. What's for breakfast? What's for breakfast? I'm kind of hungry myself. Bradley says, I sound like Mick Jagger. Cool. Mick Jagger and Tina Turner. We need to have you guys singing together. Maybe we should have a collaboration of singing on a live stream. Ooh, I might have to work on that. If you go on StreamYard, you can have 10 people on the panel. And we could have 10 people singing the same song at the same time. I'm going to work on that, you guys. Mom Dog says, hey, H&H. And he said, Anne, remember when you sang Simply the Best? Oh my God, did she really? That's a good song. And says, as long as you don't look like him, Bradley. Look like Mick Jagger. Oops, sorry guys. You guys are hilarious. Thank you for being here. Good morning, good morning. Bradley says, I do look like him. A little bit. You do a little bit. He does look like him a little bit. If you would grow your hair long, you might look like him a lot more. Bradley says, haha. Bradley, you're so sweet. I love that you're here. Thank you so much. Look at the black skies we got again, you guys. Oh, well, there's some blue. I see some blue. I see some blue by you. Hello, hello, hello. It's Tuesday, June 3rd, you guys. Bradley says y'all would love it. I'm going to work on that, you guys. I'm going to think about that. It might be like a fun thing to do like on a weekend. And says, but he probably has a very nice personality. Who, Bradley or Mick Jagger? Bradley does. Bradley's super awesome. And Play says, look who he married. Oh, you're talking about Mick. Okay. Who's he married to? I don't even know who he's married to. Mom Dog says, right, Mick Jagger. Who's he married to? I guess I forgot. Mick Jagger's married to Bianca. Wasn't it Bianca Jagger? Bianca. Or some Jerry Hall. Like, wasn't he married to Jerry Hall? Andy said, Anne is where I get my charm from. Oh, all you guys over the pond are so charming. Like Jamie Brown. Jamie Brown's charming. Andy, you're charming too. Bradley says, Bradley Cooper is here to party. There you go. Hi, Bradley Cooper. Bradley's here to party. Welcome, Bradley. Bradley, you're so fun. I've been in your live streams. You're a lot of fun. Oh, we got the guys with the power tools next door. Party. That's right, Mom Dog. Bradley says, had to put that in there. Yes, you did, Bradley. Bradley Cooper's here. Andy says, Miss Daisy, say that again. Andy, all you guys, like you and Jamie over the pond, you guys are all, you know, Hot studs. Look at Stud Bunny. Oh, by the way, has anybody seen Stud Bunny? I have not seen him. I hope he's not mad at me or something. You're wonderful, Andy. All you guys are wonderful. Bradley's great. Mom Dog. I mean, all you guys. He was married and dated very beautiful women. Yes, he did. And many singers, musicians do. Yes. I'm the best. Oh, thank you, Andy. So are you. So are you, Andy. Mom Dog says, I haven't seen him around in a minute. Me neither, Mom Dog. Lisa says, it seems like everyone overseas is nice. And says models too. Yeah, models. There's Lilu. Hey, Daisy May. Hi, Sebastian. Lilu's here. Say hi, everybody. How are you, Lilu? Lilu says, how are y'all? Well, I'm really good, Lilu. How about you? How are you doing today? Lilu says, Mom Dog, hey. Bradley says, I'm doing okay. I'm doing good. I'm enjoying a cup of tea on the patio. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. There you go, tea time. Lilu, how are you? You made a rhyme, Lisa. Lilu says, Lisa, good, thanks. Nice to be here with you all. Thank you, Sebastian. Men and their power tools. Mom Dog's feeling the love. Hey, Mom Dog Molly. Sweetie, sweetie, sweet. Lilu, how are you? Daisy, I haven't seen the funny guy for a while. Forgot his channel name. His name is Stud Bunny. Justin Hill. Hi, Justin. Justin Hill says hi. Everybody say hi to Justin. Lilu says, hey, Justin. How's Justin today? Lilu says, Stud Bunny, yes, hope he's okay. I hope he's okay, too. Maybe he's just busy. Andy says, well, guys, got to go. Have a great day. Remember to keep smiling and stay awesome. Thank you, Andy. Thank you for being here, too. Andy, have a good day, okay? Everybody say bye to Andy. Justin Hill says, I'm tired. I'm tired today, Justin. And says, oh, my golly, he was a real charmer, it seems. You ran through one faster than you can blink an eye. Who, Mick Jagger? Mom Dog says, take care, Andy. Seti says, hi, Lilu. And says, you too, Andy. Seti says, hi, Mom Dog. Lilu says, Ann's place he was, LOL. Seti says, hi, Justin Hill. Hey, David. David, how are ya? David's here. Hi, David. David, how are you, buddy? So good to see you. We mentioned you yesterday, David. Welcome. Mom says, hi, Seti. Lilu says, hey, Seti. Lisa smiles a lot, says, have a great day, Andy. Coffee Cake says, hi, Miss Daisy. And Daisy chatters. Hi, Coffee Cake. How are you, beautiful? Ann says, yes, I'm still stuck at Mick. Mom Dog says, hey, David. David says, I hope you mentioned me on something good. Of course, we mentioned we miss you. We mentioned that we missed you, David. Mom Dog says, hello, Coffee Cake. David says, hey, Mom Dog. Coffee Cake says, Ann and Mom Dog, hi. Ann says, hi, Mom Dog, David, and Coffee Cake. Lilu says, hey, David, sir. David says, hi, Ann and Lee. Come on, dude. Jeez Louise, come on. They can't stand one little leaf on their patio. David says, hi, Ann and Lee. Mom Dog says, hello, Ann. Lisa says, hey, David. Ann says, hi, Lilu. Sadie says, hi to David. Lilu says, hey, Ann's place. Angela Critters, hi, Angela. Good morning, Daisy May, and good morning, Chad. Hello, Angela Critters. Everybody say hi to Angela. Coffee Cake Love and Bish says, David and Lulu, hi. Angela says, hi to Ann. Ann says, hello there, Angela. Lilu says, hi, Coffee Cake. Mom Dog says, hello, anyone I missed. Sadie says, hi, Angela Critters. Lisa says, hi, Coffee Cake. Sadie says, hi, Coffee Cake. David says, hi, Lisa, Sadie, and Coffee Cake. Angela says, hi, Sadie, and hi, Lisa smiles a lot. David, it's so hot here? Really? How hot is it, David? How hot is it? Sadie and Lisa, hello, says Coffee Cake. Lisa says, hi, Angela Critters, howdy. Big Boss Lady's here. Hey, Boss Lady. She says, blessing, how are you? Good to see you, beautiful. David says, like 30 to 35 Celsius. Ew. I don't know what that is, but that sounds hot. Mom Dog says, where are you from, David? Big Boss Lady says, blessings to you all. Blessings to you too, Boss Lady. Welcome. Good to see you. Good morning, good morning. Mom Dog says, hi, Big Boss Lady T. Welcome, welcome. Say good morning. Say good morning. What's this guy doing over here? Mom Dog says, hi, Boss Lady. Fisherman's Lodge says, hi, Big Boss Lady, but love emojis. Sadie says, hi, Boss Lady. She says, how's my little doing? Oh, your little doggy? Want to see her? She's sleeping. Well, she's not sleeping. She's resting. He says, hi, Fisherman's Lodge. David says, around 100. Ooh. Yeah, that's how we're getting pretty soon, too. I feel you, David. It stinks. It's too hot. David says, Mom Dog, I live in Portugal. He lives in Portugal. And you know who else does? It's John P. John P. and David, they both live in Portugal. The Fisherman's Lodge says, hi, Seti. Boss Lady says, blessings to Mom Dog. Thank you, Boss Lady. Mom Dog says, oh my God, David, that's just way too hot. Lisa says, hi, Big Boss Lady. Big Boss Lady says, oh my God, I want to hold her. Aw, thank you. Mom Dog says, that's really hot, David. Daisy is too cute. Thank you, Mom Dog. Ann says, hi, Boss Lady. David says, make her pay the bills. Make her pay the bills. Ann says, hi, Fisherman. Boss Lady says, blessings to Lisa and Ann. Fisherman's Lodge says, hi, Ann. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning. I'm getting kind of hungry, you guys. David says, I will melt when I get in the car. All Arnaud Van Open. You're speaking French, which I don't understand, but welcome. Mom Dog says, be safe out there, David. David says, Mom Dog, luckily I have beach close to me. Oh, that's the best, David. The beach is the best. And says, hi, Armand. No, we don't speak French. Big Boss Lady says, steady blessings. Justin Hill says, how bad was the water on the porch? You want to see, Justin? I had to completely wash it all. And all the cushions, they're still wet. Everything's wet. But the floor got washed. Like, see, look at. Everything got wet. There was so much water. There was so much water. Thank you for asking, Justin. Ann says, hi, Justin. Boss Lady says, blessings to David. David says, hey, Big Boss. Ann says, he's asking if we do speak it. Oh, thank you, Ann. No, we do not speak French. I'm so sorry. Welcome, welcome, everybody. We do not speak French. Does anybody? And do you speak French? Share Bear, Purple Share Bear. Good morning, everyone. What a beautiful day God has given us. Hi, Share Bear. Good morning. I saw you over at Brylon Farm very quickly this morning. Good to see you. Mom Dog says, hey, Share Bear. Share Bear, good morning. Ann, Kelly, David, Justin, Big Boss Lady, and Mom Dog. David says, hi, Share Bear. Ann says, hi, Share Bear. How are you? Sorry, I can only speak English very deliciously. Share Bear says, I got all that out the way this AM so busy today for work. Oh, wait, I missed something. Oh, I gotcha. Good, Share Bear. So you're going to be busy at work today. Tina says, "Oh, I used to cover so my mom could be here for me when a storm comes." Tina, how you doing, girl? Share Bear says, "Ann, I'm good. How are you?" Share Bear says, "Hi, Tina." Justin says, "Looks cloudy." Yes, it's going to rain. It's dark. The clouds are dark. That's not blue sky. That's dark clouds. Mom Dog says, hey, Tina. Barry says, good morning, Share Bear. Ann says, Share Bear, great after seeing you. Mom Dog says, hey, Tina. Purple Share Bear says, how bad was the cleanup? Oh, it took me forever. It's still not done. Everything's drying out. And then all the cushions are wet. But not too bad. It was a mess. It was a big mess. Share says, good morning, Barry. Share says, Ann, so sweet. Lisa smiles a lot, says, good morning, all I missed. Share sending love. Share says, good morning, Lisa. Ann says, cleaning up. What's that? Share does your screen close or will you always get rain? Nope. We only get rain when it's really like coming in sideways. Normally we don't get it inside, but when it's a bad rain, we can get the floor wet, yeah, and everything else gets wet. I should have pulled everything away from the screens. I didn't. David says, "Where's your beautiful kitty?" She's inside. She's laying on the bed. At least she was. She's doing good though, David. Thanks. Thanks for asking. Seti says, "Hi, Share Bear." Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, and good morning. It came so fast, though. Didn't give a lot of time. No, it didn't. And I had the game. We had the Scrabble game. Even the board got wet. So I was trying to get that and the camera away from it. And Lisa says, "Hey, she's a beautiful kitty." Thank you, Lisa. Shipper says, "Good morning to Seti." David says, "There are some stray cats coming in in front of my place, and I can't take them." Aw. You can go out and spend some time with them outside, right? It is sad, Share Bear, it is. And says, "Kelly, hold out your hands. I have my wooden spoon." You should have moved those cushions. I should have. I should have moved everything. All right, Ann, here you go. Bad girl, bad girl. Cheryl says, "David, put food out. They can be your outside ones. They can be your outside ones." There you go. There are, yeah, there's indoor cats and outdoor cats. Some are both, right? Our cat's an indoor cat. She's been to the patio, but she's never been past the patio, and hopefully she never does. At least I hope not. Stupid autocorrect. I did mean I knew what you meant. Once I read it, I got you. No worries, you guys. You don't worry about autocorrect. It's okay. David says, "Share Bear, I will hide them when the owner comes." Yeah, I just hide them. Can you put them a little backyard or a little little bed in the backyard or something? Share Bear, LOL, David. David. It's so good to see you, David. Thank you so much for stopping back. Appreciate that. People ask about you, like, "How's David?" I'm like, "I don't know, I haven't seen him." And now I can say David was here and he's good. Sherber says, "If I missed anyone, good morning." And says, "I grew up in the time when our teachers were allowed to hit your hands." Yep, me too. So guess how I got them to not do that to me? Uh-oh, what'd you do, Ann? Bradley says, "Bradley Cooper's back." Welcome back, Bradley. Welcome back. We got to pin you too. David says, "They are so tiny, I can put them in my pockets." Oh, you got little tiny kitties. Little tiny kitties. Sherber says, "Good morning, Bradley." David says, "Bradley Cooper from T-Bone." Good morning, good morning, good morning. Devin's still hanging out. Thank you, Devin. Appreciate that so much. Dave, Justin, do you own your house? Yes, Justin. Yes, I do. Ann says, "I rubbed onions on my hands so when they hit it, swells terribly." Oh my God. I rubbed onions on my hands so when they hit it, swells. Ann. Oh, Ann, you're too much. Sherber says, "I had to kneel in a ruler. Catholic school. Only once though, and because I was writing with my left hand. So I'm right-handed." Yeah, Catholic schools were really tough back in the day. David says, "Damn, y'all went to some wild schools." Share Bear says, "Good morning, Justin." Bradley says, "Good morning, Share Bear." Justin says, "Hi, Share Bear." Kelly says, "Hi, everybody." Hello, everybody. Hello, Justin, Bradley, Share Bear, David. Share Bear, Ann, Justin, David, Share Bear, Bradley. Barry, I can't do it. I thought Mom Dog. Justin says, "Hi, Share Bear." Ann says, "Seriously, did that a few times and all the teachers stopped with me." Oh no, I never got into trouble at school. Mom Dog says, "That sounds traumatic, Share Bear." It does, doesn't it? Those Catholic schools back in the day, yeah, they were scary places. Guess who taught me that trick? Oh, Ann. Shearber's mom dog, and she had purple hair, and she was like 4 foot tall. David says I mostly got in trouble from my parents when I was skipping school. LOL. Shearber says, hi, Devin. Ann says, my dad told me that he did it at boarding school, so I tried it and it worked. Mom dog says, LOL, Shearber. Shearber says, my hair is still out of control. Oh, no. Shearber. In case anybody doesn't know, Shearber colored her hair red. And she looks like Ronald McDonald. Not really. She doesn't. She does not. Devin says, hi, Shearber. Hi. Oh, hi, Devin. David says, hi, Devin. Welcome, everybody. Sorry, guys, my tea went down the wrong pipe. Shearber says, I look like Ronald McDonald. Somebody said that yesterday. I just thought it was so cute. Ann says, hi, Devin. Alfredo, hi, Alfredo. Alfredo's here. Shearber says, good morning, Alfredo. David says, Shearber, do you have red nose as well? Alfredo says, Shearber, hello, David and Ann. Mom dog says, hey, Alfredo. Lisa smiles a lot, says, Shearber, I want to color mine purple. You know who colored theirs purple, Lisa? Is Specs. Specs Appeal. She did purple. She looks beautiful. You should do it. David says, hey, Alfredo. Alfredo says, oh, Mom, hello. Didn't realize you're here. Shearber says, David, no, but if I did, I really wouldn't be able to go outside. Alfredo says, hello, Lisa. Mary Skiggs. Hi, Mary. Mary said, hi. Hi, Mary Skiggs. How are ya? Bradley says, something to Alfredo. And says, Kelly, I don't do wrong stuff, but I'm mouthy. No, and not you, no. Alfredo says, hello, Bradley. Mom dog says, hey, Mary, hello. Shearber says, Lisa, me too. And I ended up red. Burgundy is red. Bradley says, hey. Alfredo says, 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 Alfredo says. I got it, Alfredo. I read it all. Shearber says, good morning to Mary. David says, Shearber, Barbara once did me so dirty, I didn't leave my house for 2 weeks. Lisa says, hi, Mary. Shearber says, oh, poor David, LOL. Alfredo says, ha, 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 ha. It worked. It did. Shearber says, apparently burgundy equals Ronald McDonald. No. You just said it was red, and somebody went with that. Tina says, LOL, Alfredo. Maddie's Nifty Creations. Maddie's here. Good morning. Hi, Maddie. How are you? Everybody say hi to Maddie. Ann says, I was. If I thought the teacher was wrong or not fair, I opened my mouth. Wasn't allowed in my time. Mine either. I hear ya. Maddie says, hi, Shearber. Shearber says, good morning, Maddie. Maddie says, hi, Tina. Alfredo says, hi, Tina. Maddie says, hi, Alfredo, and hi, Ann. Mom dog says, good morning, Maddie. Alfredo says, Maddie, hey. Maddie says, doing good, and you? I'm doing good too, Maddie, thanks. Lisa says, Shearber, I have had mine so many colors. David says, does Alfredo says, that 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 Alfredo says. Sorry, guys. Oh, my God. Mom dog's laughing at David. Maddie says, hi, Lisa. Maddie says, hi, Lisa. Hi, David. Don't forget to hit the like button, everybody. Double tap your screen. If you're lurking, double tap your screen. No, if you're lurking, hit the like button. If you're working, hit the like button. But if you're lurking and working and twerking, double tap your mobile device screen. And thank you. Sherbers, Lisa, me too, lol. This won't be so bad once it calms down. But till then, I'm like, wow. David says, hi, Maddie. Ann says, I was sent to the principal's office so many times, he knew me personally. And that was not good. I went to school with kids like that. Title Pro. Hi, Title Pro. You watching ads? And hi, Daisy Mae's mama. Hi, Title Pro. Welcome. How are you today? Happy Tuesday. Share Bear says, good morning, Title Pro. Title Pro says, hello, Chad. Hello, Share Bear. Ann says, hi, Title Pro. Lisa says, David, where are you from? David's from Portugal. Maddie says, hi, Title Pro. David says, I'm lurking on third bathroom break. Yes, sir, I'm not paid enough. Thank you, David. Abigail says, hi, Share Bear. David says, Lisa, I live in Portugal. Yes, he lives in Portugal. Title Pro says, hi, Ann, and hi, Maddie. Abigail says, hi, David. Title Pro, it's good to see you yesterday. Abigail says, hi, David. David says, hey, Abby. Mom Dog says, hi, Abigail. Maddie says, hi, Abigail. Hi, Abigail. Abigail says, hi to Share Bear. Abigail. Welcome, 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 and good morning. Lisa says, I have family in Portugal. Nice. Ann says, well, he must have. I'm not too bad because he introduced me to his daughters and twin sons in my age group. We became a good group of friends. That's nice, Ann. He must have thought. I'm not too bad, right? I gotcha. He thought you're not a bad kid. David says, Lisa, that's cool. Where? Where in Portugal? Title Pro, how are you today? Welcome. Purple Share Bear says, hi, Abigail. I hope I didn't miss anybody. If I missed you, I apologize. Maddie says, well, finish that bathroom project today. Yo, Maddie, yay. I got to get over your channel. I'm going right now. Because I don't want to forget. 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 And says the principal. The principal introduced you to his kids. That's great. Lisa says Lisbon. David says, Lisa, I live in Lisbon. Are you related to Lisa? I will love it. I love your channel, Maddie. I think you're so creative. Title Pro says, we are excellent as always. It's a beautiful morning here. Oh, good, Title Pro. Nice. It's a cloudy morning here, but it's okay. I don't mind it. It's kind of cool. David says, Lisa, Azor's accent is horrible. What is that? Lisa says, it might be. Devin says, I'm watching Surf's Up too. Maddie says, Johnny walks in this morning to brush his teeth and says, you know, I love you, man. I said, why? He says, you're so creative. It's like nifty blood over the bathroom walls, but I love it, he said. Aw. So cute, Maddie. Ann says that name stuck all through high school. Did I miss your name? Let me go back. He introduced me to them as this is Mouthy. Oh, no. So that name stuck all through high school. Mouthy. Mouthy Ann or just Mouthy? Maddie says, made me feel so good because I've been doing a lot of the house projects around the house with items that I have and stuff. They are turning out amazing. Oh, Maddie, that's so wonderful. Maddie says they make everyone smile. Hey, Money 420, welcome. Hey, Daisy and chat. Money, I was in your live this morning. Good to see ya. David says, hey, Money 420. Maddie says, it's like nifty exploded all over the walls, I meant to say. It's okay. Devin says, hi, Money. I do a 420 channel. Mom says, hi, Money 420. Maddie says, hi, Money 420. Ann says, nope, just Mouthy. They called me Mouthy. John P., good morning, Daisy. Hi, sis. Hi, John. How are you, buddy? John is also from Portugal, you guys. Money says, whoops. Hi, John. Welcome, welcome. Mary says, hey, Title Pro. Money says, I seen you in the chat. I apologize for all the crazy people going crazy on each other. That's okay, Money 420. I was there to support you. I was there just to support you. So no apologies necessary, my friend. John says, saw Fury Daisy here yesterday. You did, John? Aw, how sweet. Davis, Money, can you send me some money? I'm broke. Ann says, I think that's why I got bullied by my cousin and her friends. Jealousy. Ooh, jealousy can do it. Yeah. Lisa says, Azores in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Yes. Mm-hmm. Maddie says, hi, John. Alfredo says, John P., my friend. John says, and also Shadow Bailey here too in the beach. Money says it gets a little crazy. That's okay, Money. No worries. Title Pro says, hi, Mary. How are you today? David says, hi, John P., amigo. John says, and sis. Alfredo says, how you said John P. is from Portugal. He is. John, you're from Portugal, right? What's so cute says, oh, John, I bet. Ann says, hi, John P. David says, Alfredo, we are everywhere. Alfredo's from Spain. John says, Alfredo, yes, I'm in Monte Gordo, NOE. Alfredo says, oh, man, we are neighbors. John says, David, Portugal, oh, yeah. David says, John P., I'm in Lisbon. John says, I'm from Porto, live here, live there. John says, hi. Alfredo says, something I don't understand. Hi, everybody, welcome. John P. says, hey, Title Pro. John says, very windy today. Oh, very windy. Yeah, it's kind of quiet here right now, but we've had rain for all day yesterday and all night and this morning. Title Pro says, hi, John P. Share Bear says, John, good morning. You mean YouTube, Shadow Bailey? John says, David, and something I don't know. John says, yes, Share Bear. John says, hug, Share Bear, sis. Alfredo says, what happened with Shadow Bailey? Yeah, I'm a little lost right here now. Let me go back. John says, and also a Shadow Bailey here too in the beach. Oh, she's vacationing? Is that what you mean? Shadow Bailey is there? Alfredo says, he said we are everywhere. Alfredo, thank you so much for stopping in. David, LOL, John. John says, I saw a similar doggy as well. Awesome, John. Maddie says, I had to go record back. I'm back. Thanks for stopping back, Maddie. Everybody check out Maddie. John says, I saw a similar doggy. Shearber says, John P. Adventures, good to see ya. Love her. Ann says, me too. He's one of my subs too. Ann says, she. Oh, Shadow Bailey. John says, hey, Maddie's. Alfredo says, great, Maddie. Oh, Maddie's here. No frills, no mercy, Maddie. Daisy, hi, my friend. Hi, Maddie. How are you, buddy? Everybody say hello to No Mercy, Maddie. Ann says, hi, Maddie. Maddie says, current hand drawing and painting. David says, John P. in some other language. No Mercy says, hi, John P. John P. was funny because both saw him in one afternoon at the beach. Sherbert says, hey, No Mercy, good morning. No Frills, No Mercy says, I'm good, thank you. How are you, Daisy? I'm good, Maddie. I'm really good, thanks. Lisa says, hi, Maddie. John says, Frills, good to see you, brother. Mom Dog says, hi, Maddie. Maddie says, hi, Share Bear. Ann says, I gotta go now. Have a great day. Bye, Ann. Take care, my friend. Thank you for being here, Ann. Have a good day. Everybody say bye to Ann. She's in Turkey, yeah. No Mercy says, hey, Molly, but love. Alfredo says, ha, 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 but we have to talk in English here to let everyone understand. That's right, Alfredo. We want to understand what you're saying. John says, remember you, sis. Maddie says, hi, Maddie. Alfredo says, something else. No Mercy. Maddie says, bye, Ann. Maddie says, hi, No Mercy. Kelly says, hi, everybody. Welcome. Hi, Alfredo. Hi, Maddie. Alfredo says, thanks. Okay. Thank you, Alfredo. Mom Dog says, take care, Ann. Shearber says, Ann Place, have a blessed day. Have a blessed day, everybody. Um, Alfredo says, Alfredo, I have to remove that, bud. Just say hi, No Mercy. Or hi, Maddie. John says, hey, Mom Dog. David says, Alfredo speaking the best language. Lisa smiles a lot. David said he lives in Lisbon, but his parents were from Madeira. Thank you, Lisa. Alfredo says, no, Kelly, I said that thanks means thanks. No Mercy says, better day today, Daisy, over the pond. Oh, that's good. That's good, Maddie, No Mercy. John says, hey, Lisa. Maddie says, Daisy, I want to take the time to say thank you for making us all company as we working on jobs or crafting projects or other things. You have a wonderful, relaxing life. A great way to start our day. Thank you. Thank you, Maddie. That's so sweet. I have to pin that. I'm sorry. I have to. Lisa says, another island. Someone says, hi, Alfredo. Alfredo says, thank you very much. No Mercy says, hi, Lisa. Maddie says, smash those likes. Thank you, Maddie. Alfredo says, hello, friend Sonal. Sonal says, hey, No Mercy and Maddie. No Mercy says, apologies. No apologies. Mom Dog. Welcome, Mom Dog. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sherber says, Sonal's all about freedom. Good morning. Alfredo says, John says, Alfredo, you from the north. Oh, welcome, Mom Dog. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. No Mercy says, hey, Sonal, my friend. Sonal says, hi, Share Bear. Alfredo says, thanks, Mom's Dog. Yeah, Mom Dogs. Thank you, Molly. Thank you so much. Go, all you members, go over, and everybody, go over to the post tab. Play the games. Play the games I made, please. John says, David, I told you I have an aunt in the Azores. Alfredo says, I'm from Spain. John says, nice, I'm so close to the Spain border. Maddie says, you're welcome. Thank you, Maddie. John says, hey, Sonal. Greg's here. Greg's from Maine. One brook trout, one moose, and a huge golden eagle this morning here in Maine. Greg, wonderful. Oh, that sounds so beautiful, Greg. Welcome. Everybody say hi to Greg. David says, Alfredo, where are you in Spain? Sonal says, hi, John P. John says, yesterday I was in Villa Real Santo Antonio, could see Spain after the river. Sonal says, hi, Greg. David says, John P., that's great. I've never been to Porto, though. Angela Critter says, Shibber, so nice to see you. Thank you, Angela, for sticking around, saying hello. Everybody check out Angela Critters. She has all these delicious recipes and things on her channel that just look delicious. I do want to try some of them. Shibber says, good morning to Greg. Alfredo says, yes, that's good. Sonal says, hi, Angela. Shibber says, Angela Critters, good morning. So nice to see you, too. Lisa says, John, are we related? No Mercy. Maddie says, hi, Angela. John says, hi, Greg. Greg says, hello, everyone. Maddie says, hi, David. Mom Dog says, hello, Greg. Greg says, JP, hello. David says, hey, no mercy. Alfredo lives in Galicia, but was born in Madrid. No Mercy says, hi, Greg, buddy. Greg says, Mom Dog, hello. David says, Alfredo, is it true that Barcelona is kind of unsafe? Greg says, no frills, hello. John says, nice, Galicia is very close. John says, ha, ha, ha. Devin says, hi. Hi, Devin. John P says, we all brothers and sisters. We really are. Alfredo says, now it's one of the most unsafe cities. Yes, really, I did not know that. No Mercy says, hey, Devin. John says, hey, Devin. Somo says, hey, Devin. Alfredo says, yes, I'm close to Valencia. David said, everyone here now. Everyone's here. Welcome, welcome, everybody. It's 9:18 a.m. John says, me and my wife did first travel together to Barcelona before we were married. And you loved it. Oh, wow. Someone says, typo correct. Almost made me call Devin 7. Devin 7. It's all the same. It's all good. Maddie says, hi, Greg, and hi, Sono. Zendaya. Better not. David says, hi, Sonal. John says, it's fine, but eyes are open. Sunny Chronicles, hey, Sunny, good morning. Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, Sunny. Thank you, Mom Dog and Alfredo. Sherbert says, gonna make a meatloaf in the crock pot today. Hope it turns out better than my hair. That's good, Sherbert. Alfredo says, sorry, Mom. Alfredo says, pressed after you without realizing. It's okay, you guys. Thank you. David says, John B, so basically like Paris. Sherbert says, good morning, Sunny. How are you, Sunny Chronicles? Welcome. Sunny says, good morning, Share Bear. No Mercy, Maddie says, too fast, Molly. My arthritic fingers are slow. Mine too, Maddie, right? Mine too. Mom Dog says, appreciate you, Alfredo. It's all good. John says, yup, Paris was on fire some days ago. It was? Paris was on fire? I do not watch the news anymore, you guys. Alfredo says, thanks, Mom, for taking care. Thank you, guys. John P says, hi, Sunny. Sunny says, good morning to everyone. No Mercy. Maddie says, hi, Sunny. Maddie says, hi, Sunny. Dave says, John P, yeah, over CL final. John says, yup, sis, they love fire over there. Really? That's bad news. See our cute little tree? It's getting bigger. I think we have a bird nest in there. Isn't she just so cute, you guys? All right, where am I? Maddie says, hi, Sunny. David says, John P, yeah, OCL, I got you. They love the fire. John says, Champions League football. Thank you, John. Lisa says, hi, Sunny. Solano says, uh-oh, now I'm feeling a little crankiness coming, but I'm holding it in. Uh-oh. You're cranky, Solano? What's up, bud? Why are you feeling a little crankiness? Alfredo says, can't believe I wasn't subscribed to Mom Dog. I will whip myself all day. Alfredo. Mom Dog says, good morning, Sunny. Devin says, thanks for subbing, Mom Dog. Maddie says, I've seen a lot of fires on the news lately. It's nuts. Yeah, I don't watch the news, you guys. I don't watch it. Very, very rarely. David says, John, I'm sporting a fan, so I went crazy a few days ago as well. Good. Enjoy, David. I'm a big football fan, you guys. John says, Daisy's sleeping so cute. Thank you, John. Sherbert says, no crankiness, Sonal, LOL. Mom says, I forgive you, Alfredo. Sonal says, LOL, Share Bear. Alfredo laughs. Lisa says, what's wrong, Sonal? Yeah, what's wrong, bud? Can we help? Sherbert says, LOL, Alfredo. John says, congrats, David. Sporting my grandparent team, so my second team. David says, John P., who do you support? Sonal says, Lisa, somebody's messing with Daisy May. Oh, thank you, Sonal. Don't get upset about that, though. That's okay. You guys took care of it. I love it. Thank you for having my back. John says, I'm FC Porto. Alfredo says, I support Atletico de Madrid. You're not no loser, Alfredo. We love you. Sonal says, Shibra, now I'm laughing. John says, I haven't watched much this year. David says, John P., darn, what happened to your team? Need for Speed? Hey, Need for Speed, how are ya? Welcome back. Need for Speed, everybody say hello. John says, Athletic is great. Love the coach. Shearer says, good morning, Need for Speed. David says, Alfredo, Griezmann, 0 league titles in like 10 years. Shearer sending love. Sonal says, hi, Need for Speed. Alfredo says, now I only supporting Florida Panthers because of my friend Kelly. Thank you, Alfredo, but I'm not a fan of the Florida teams. Need for Speed says, hello, all. Mom Dog says, hi, Need for Speed. Alfredo says, nah, they don't win anything. Lisa smiles a lot, says, David, I'm sporting and I'm half sporting and half Benfica soccer. Thank you, everybody. Alfredo, I'll be their fan for you. And I am caught up. Sherbert says, LOL. David says, Lisa, you can't be both of them. You have to pick one. You gotta pick. Alfredo says, LOL, Sherbert, with love. How is everybody? Happy Tuesday morning. Tuesday, June 3rd. Need for Speed. If you are wanting to grow your channel, I'm going to change you to blue so you can connect with people if you would like to. Please do not abuse the power. Tuesday's Burger Day. Ooh, I'm hungry. John says, he. David says, John P. Alfredo, y'all watching Nations League? John says, we got love-hate triangle with Porto, Benfica, and Sporting. Alfredo says, at this point, Kelly, I think you should create a DC channel so we can keep in touch during the day as much as people want to talk. I will give that some thought, Alfredo. Thanks, bud. I will give it some thought. Need for Speed says, well, thanks. You're welcome. And if you're trying to grow your channel, let us know. People will help you. Alfredo says, yes. Hope Spain doesn't win. John says, Speed, hey. No Mercy Maddie says, hi, Need for Speed. Hi, everybody. Don't like the coach of the players, Alfredo says. Alfredo doesn't like the coaches or the players. Alfredo says, thumbs down. Sheer I finally got a Discord account. Only am friends with Toy Pup so far. Oh, that's good. That's good. David says, Alfredo, Yamal is crazy, though, for just 17. John says, Portugal playing Germany tomorrow. Alfredo says, I want Portugal to win. Roberto Martinez deserves it. And Need for Speed, you're the Blue Crew. That's right. Alfredo says, Sherbert, add me. I'm Alfredino. Alfredo says, no. Sir Milkmaid, good morning, everyone. Hi, Sir Milkmaid. Good morning. Welcome. Alfredo says, I wrote wrong. That's okay. John says, Alfredo, I like Martinez, too. Lisa smiles a lot, says, David, my dad was Benfica. Mom was Sporting. Can't watch because I miss them. Aw. Big hugs to you, Lisa. Alfredo says, Alfredino. Solo says, Alfredo, I had a dream that I did a magic on the whip and trying to make me dance, LOL. I always get these crazy dreams when I'm sleeping. David says, Lisa, I'm sorry. Welcome, everybody. Hello. Portugal deserves a World Cup. They have a super team, Alfredo says. Did you guys see the picture David made of Daisy? Look at, come on. Isn't that just the cutest picture? Isn't that so cute? Alfredo says Portugal deserves a World Cup. They have a super team. David says, John P., can he stop putting Ronaldo? He is done. John says, Alfredo, you got an amazing team. Spain is amazing. Alfredo says, ha ha ha, love your dreams. Alfredo says, Spain to the rubbish. We support Portugal now, ha ha. John says, not going to be so soon. I think the World Cup for us. LOL, David, it's hard. Maddie says, I got to run, but everyone have a great day and smash the likes. Thank you, Maddie. Go check out Maddie's Nifty Creations. A beautiful lady, a beautiful wife and mother, and very talented. Mom Dog says, that's too cute. Thank you, Mom Dog. Alfredo says, oh, yes, thank you, Alfredo, for doing that. It's so cute. Love that face, Sonal. That's right. David says, bye, Maddie. Mom Dog says, take care, Maddie. Alfredo says, what an artist. You did a good job, Alfredo. John says, you won recently or 2 finals. Alfredo, why? Been a bit of a block. Alfredo says, yes, very unlucky. John says, Maddie, hugs, sis, and blessings. Orange Shearber says, Alfredo, what is your DC? David says, I have to go back to work. Take care, everyone. Bye, David. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here. Everyone's asking about you. David, have a good day. Alfredo says, ALFRE_DINO. Aries World. Hi, Aries World. Aries World says, hi. Hi, Aries World. How are ya? Lisa Smiles a lot says, have a great day, Maddie. Alfredo says, David, we keep talking. Aries World, send an emoji. Thank you. John says, David, something. Alfredo says, hello, Aries World. Sonal says, hi, Aries World. John P says, Aries hugs. Good to see ya. Sherbert says, good morning, Aries World. Sonal says, take care, David. Take care, David. Sonal says, take care, Maddie, too. Yeah. There's a house way down there. See how big the house is? It's 2 stories. Right there. It's a huge house. John says, I said hugs. David, see you soon. Alfredo says, going to create some emojis for Spax. I saw you in her live. Yes, that's great, Alfredo. Sherbert says, Alfredo, okay, just sent you a request. Aries World says, hello to all. Thank you. I'm driving to work. Thank you, Aries World. Thanks for stopping and saying hello. Hit that like button, everybody. Bella's mom. Good morning, beautiful Miss Daisy. Hi, Bella's mom. How are ya? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Everybody say hi to Bella's mom and Aries World. Lisa Smiles a lot says, David, I love Benfica, LOL. Alfredo says, there I go, Share Bear. Share Bear says, Alfredo, still learning. It only been like on 2 times. Need for Speed says, how much? Tina says, it was laggy for a minute because I have no internet. Share Bear says, Bella's mom, good morning. Aries World gives us thumbs up. Thank you. It is Tuesday, June 3rd, you guys, 2025. 9:31 a.m. on the East Coast here in Florida. How much for the house? What house, Need for Speed? My house? That house? That's a $2 million house right there. But it's 4 bedrooms and I think 3 or 4 bathrooms. It's bigger than it looks. Bella says, good morning, beautiful Share Bear. Alfredo says, we have a Noah channel Discord there. We send pictures, videos, talk daily. He says when he's doing or not lives, think about this, Daisy. Thank you, Alfredo. I definitely will. John says, hey, Bellas. Share Bear sending love. Zed says, hey, Aries World and Share Bear. Thanks for hanging out, Zed. I hope you're having a good morning. I hope everybody's having a good morning. The water. It's so calm. You want to play Nosy Neighbor? Da, 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 da. All right, I better behave. I better be good. Sherbert says, good morning, Zed with love. Lisa says, Bella's hello. Need for Speed says, good Lord. Yeah, it costs a lot to live by the beach. Bella's mom, how are you today? Wait, Bella's mom, you're Tori? John says, hey, Zed's brother. Aries says, hi, Zed and Share Bear. Solon says, hey, Zed, how you doing? Or is that a different Tori? Lisa says, I looked up housing in Florida. It's different all over Florida, Lisa. Here in South Florida, because there's very limited space, it's super expensive. Now, if you go up north and west on the Gulf side, it's cheaper. Lisa, John P says, not easy, Lisa, right? Sono says, be right back, gonna get some coffee. Okay, Sono, great. Thank you. Yeah, Lisa, it all depends on where you are. Close to the beach is expensive. Inland, a little cheaper. North Florida, way cheaper. West Coast Florida, also cheaper. What did you find out, Lisa? Anything good? Any good news? Aries World, if you go way up west and north to Iowa, it's cheaper. Yes, it is. And it's beautiful in Iowa. I've only seen Iowa through you, Aries World, and I think it's beautiful. Absolutely right. Sherber says all Florida is pretty expensive in general, though. Not really, Bear. Not really. There's a lot of places in Florida that are way more affordable. Hmm. Really, you guys, the whole country is expensive, right? Everything's getting expensive. John says, nice. John says, is there islands there too? Yes, there are islands. We live right by the bridge, and right over the bridge is an island. Go there all the time. I bet they're more expensive. Yes. Sir Milkmaid says, I live near MacDill Air Force Base, and new homes here start at $1 million. Right, Sir Milkmaid. He's over on the West Coast. It's expensive. Tampa's expensive. Chris Outdoors, good morning. Just checking in quickly to say hello and give like. Thank you, Chris Outdoors. Thank you. Barry says, good morning, Aries World. Barry. Aries World says, oh, wow, that's cool, Daisy May. Sherbert says, Sir Milkmaid, good morning. Chris Outdoors, too. John says, hey, Barry. Aries World says, see Iowa through Aries World. I do. I love it. I see it through you guys. John says, hey, Chris. Barry says, John P., hi. Sir Milkmaid says, howdy, Share Bear. Thank you, Chris Outdoors. Chris Outdoors, thank you so much. And thank you for being there last night at the crossword puzzle. Those crossword puzzles were hard, weren't they? Aries says, hey, Barry. John says, milk. Yummy. Milk, Sir Milkmaid. I always think of Milk Duds when I see him. Sir Milkmaid says, howdy, John, good morning. Aries World to Barry. What's up, Barry? Uh-oh. She was getting up. Daisy. Hi. Stop that. Say hi to everybody. Everybody wants to say hi to you. Say hello. No. Say hello. Nope. Lay it back down. She's like, yeah, no, I'm laying back down. Zed says, hi, John P. and Sonal. Sir Milkmaid says, howdy, John. Good morning. Good morning. It's 9:37 a.m. Isn't she cute, Aries World? She is. Kathy Martin, hello, good morning. Hi, Kathy. Kathy's back. Hi, Kathy, good morning. Kathy, like my sister. Kathy says, hi, everyone. Good morning, sunshine. How are ya? I'm sorry, we have a plane overhead, you guys. Mom Dog says, hey, Kathy. Berry says, Share Bear, do you sing meatloaf while cooking meatloaf? Kathy Martin says, my sister from another mister. That's right, Kathy. Welcome, welcome. Kathy says, hi, Mom Dog. Berry says, the plane, boss, the plane. Kathy says, I sub to Mom Dog. Aries World says, rain on my walk into work. Have a good day at work, Aries World. Thank you so much for stopping by. Aries World says, hi, Kathy Martin. Kathy says, all the food content. I'm getting hungry. What kind of food, you guys? I'm getting hungry. Kathy says, hi, Aries World. I'm going to start a poll, you guys. It's Taco Tuesday. Kathy says, Subway today. Subway, I'm getting hungry. Shipper says, Berry, I will, LOL. I will literally put on a song when I'm getting it ready to serve later just for you. Meatloaf was good songs, right? Meatloaf. Share Bear says, good morning, Kathy Martin. Kathy says, Subway today. Hi, Share Bear. Berry says, don't be sad. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Aries Rose says, I got 30,000 steps in yesterday, mowing, fertilizing, volleyball, doubleheader. 30,000 steps. Oh my God, I'd be sleeping for 3 days. Good job, Aries World. Good job. Title Pro says, I eat tacos almost every day, Daisy Mae's mama. You do, Title Pro? They're so yummy, aren't they? Kathy says, here's a heart for you, Aries World. Oh, thank you, Kathy. That's so sweet. Sherbert says, okay, so weird. I have the Telegram app. And it says, my dad just joined. He's been dead for 2 years. I guess someone in Florida has his old phone number now. Still creepy and weird. Oh, wow, Share Bear. Creepy and weird is right. Aries World says, taco yum. Aries World says, hee hee, Daisy, thank you. You're welcome, Aries World. Thank you. Title Pro says, tacos, diet food. There you go. Kathy's not to be a downer, but today's my BFF's heavenly birthday. Kind of a sad day. Aw. Hugs to you, Kathy. It's hard losing a BFF, right? We send you lots of love today, Kathy. Barry says, what does a nosy taco do? Gets jalapeno business. What does a nosy taco do? It gets jalapeno business. It gets jalapeno business. Get it? Lisa says, hubby has a cousin who lives in Fort Lauderdale, and she says it's expensive. Yes, we're just north of Fort Lauderdale, like just north. Like 5 miles north. Sherbis has Kathy Martin love. Thank you, Sherbis, for giving Kathy Martin love. She needs it today. We're going to give Kathy love all day today. Aries World says, crazy Share Bear. Kathy says, thank you for the love. Thank you, Kathy. Aries World says, thank you, Kathy. Kathy says, thank you, Share Bear. Share Bear says, Aries World, a little bit, LOL. Kathy says, hey, Berry, LOL. Share Bear says, Lisa smiles a lot. I have family in Sarasota, and they say it's expensive too. Yeah, expensive in Sarasota. Like, yeah, all the big cities and the big areas are very expensive. Absolutely, Share Bear. Mm-hmm. Aries World says, I gotta go have a phenomenal day. Thank you, Aries World, you too. Aries World says, Kathy hugs. Aw, Kathy, hugs to you, girl. Lisa's giving you hugs too. Kathy says, miss the Cuban sandwiches from Florida. Aries World says, Berry, Berry, LOL. Kathy Martin says, Florida. Thank you, Aries World says, Kathy. Berry says, Aries World, adios, amigos. Sherbert says, Aries World, have a blessed day. Thank you, everyone. Look at this crappy, cloudy day. I wish we had a little bit of sunshine, but it's okay. I'm going to need you guys to get me through this gray day. Say that 10 times real fast. Aries, adios, amigos. 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 Faster. Faster. Oh my God, you're so funny. Kathy says, hot day today, here 80. And Kathy says, first time this year, no heater. It's warming up, Kathy, yay. Why are you talking Spanish, Kelly? Because Berry told me to. Aries World says, thank you. Sherbert laughing. Good morning, Daisy. Hi, Stardashians. Everybody say hi to the Stardashians. Say welcome, welcome, Eric and Lee. Welcome, welcome. How are you, my friend? Sherbert is supposed to be 88. Ooh. Kathy says, y'all are so funny. We're goofy in the morning sometimes, Kathy. Goofiness. We're silly. Sherbert says, hey, good morning, the Stardashians. Aries World says, Berry, we got your live stream playlist running. Awesome, Berry. I'll be helping you too. He's working on hours? I did not know, you guys. You got to tell me. Kathy Martin says, hi, Stardashians. The Stardashians, we have decided to go live later in the day. Oh, that's good, Stardashians. Yeah. Kathy says, that's hilarious. Thank you, Kathy. Sir Milkman says, it's the coffee. It's the coffee. Adios, amigos, is goodbye, my friend. Arrivederci, au revoir. Is off Wiedersehen? I don't know. Kathy says, I don't get any notifications for anyone. That's okay. Thanks for stopping in, Kathy. Stardashian says, hello, Share Bear. Hello, Kathy. John says, hey, Kathy. Yeah, the one thing, Stardashians, you got to remember is we're on the East Coast. So right now, it's 9:45. But then it's 8:45, 7:45, 6:45 on the West Coast. You know what I mean? Those people aren't even out of bed yet. Most of them. Sherbert says, Berry, I'll play your playlist too. How many watch hours do you need? I will too, Berry. You just have to let us know. John says, Alfredo, you going? Hugs, brother. Kathy Martin says, Sir Milkmaid, mint chocolate chip balls, Sir Milkmaid. We have all the cool guys. Kathy says, hi, John. Lisa smiles a lot, says, Kathy, she makes my sunshine come out when she laughs. Aw, thank you, Lisa. Thank you. You make my sunshine come out when you appear, when you show up. You are all my sunshine. Stardashian says, hey, Aries World. John says, hey, Stardashians. Alfredo says, yes, amigo, something. Mint chocolate chip sounds good to me, says Sir Milkman. Darren says, you guys are amazing, about 20 short of 500. Darren, everybody check out Darren. Thank you, Darren, for being here. Lisa says, Kathy says, Lisa Love. That was my BFF's name. Aw. Hugs, Kathy Martin. Hugs to you. John is laughing. Kathy says, hi, Darren. Stardashian is just trying different things right now. We were live in the morning yesterday, and we had one viewer. The mornings are hard, you guys. Believe me, I work very hard to get you guys to come and see me. So I understand, Eric. Try a different time slot. Yeah, that's a good idea. Sherbert says, Sir Milkmaid mint chocolate chip yummy. Kathy says, Daisy is sunshine. Kathy, you're sunshine. Thank you for the rose. I love roses. Yellow are my favorite, followed by red. And really, I love all the roses. I love the pink ones. I love the white ones. I love them all, but yellow and red are my favorite. John says, hey, Darren. Sonal says, I'm back. Welcome back, Sonal. The Stardashian says hello to Darren. Sonal says hello, Kathy. The Stardashian says, hey, Sonal. Darren says, hi, Kathy. Sonal says, hi, Eric. John P. says, bon appetit, amigo. I just ate barbecue chicken. Oh, I'm so hungry, John. That's not even fair. Well, I hope it was good. Kathy says, I come on here just to check out the cool names. That's right. Last night we had mint chocolate chip balls, and today we have Sir Milkmaid. We have cool cats. Alfredo says, ha ha ha, thanks my amigo. I'll be back soon or join one stream of yours. We love you, Alfredo. Kathy says, Eric, I will come to your live stream next time. Sonal says, I cooked on Saturday. What'd you cook, Sonal? Stardashian says, hello, everyone. Lisa says, Kathy, I hope I make you smile. Lisa, you make everybody smile because you're just so beautiful a person. Lisa Smiles a lot is a lovely human being, you guys. Just lovely. Stardashian says, oh, thanks, Kathy. Kathy says, which one is Eric? The Stardashians is Eric. The Stardashians is Eric. Kathy says, Lisa, you sure do, with love. John says, just right. That's good, John. It sounds delicious. Sir Milkmaid says, I'll make Cher a mint chocolate pie if she teaches me how to foxtrot. I want that chocolate pie, especially mint chocolate. It's my favorite. Thank you, Daisy, says Sonal. Thank you, Sonal. Kathy says, Kathy Martin, I need a new name. Alfredo says, hey, Kella. With love, Alfredo, I love you, buddy. Sonal says, John, no fair. Kathy says, oh, okay, I just subbed to you, Eric. Thank you, Kathy. Kathy says, I don't do live stream. My house and yard are too junky. Well, find something you like, Kathy, and live stream from there. Sonal says, I cooked lamb. Oh, you guys and your cooking, I love it. I love guys that can cook. That's awesome, Sonal. Do you know Sir Milkmaid is a chef? Our friend Sir Milkmaid is a chef, you guys. And so is Benita. Anybody see Benita? I looked for her yesterday. I cannot find her. If anybody has seen Benita, please, please, please tell her I said hi, and I hope she's okay. Someone says, Kathy, awesome Martin. Or awesome Kathy Martin. Kathy says, I'll live stream my husband and I sitting here in silence. Sure, why not? You never know what people want to watch. Kathy says, hi, Sonal, with love. She Cooks and Roast is here. Hi, She Cooks and Roast. She says, hi, Daisy. Everybody check out my friend, She Cooks and Roast. She puts on an amazing show. She does amazing cooks and roasts. She's fantastic. Sir Milkmaid, you are a chef? That's awesome. Sherbert says, She Cooks and Roast, good morning. Sonal says, Sir Milkmaid, nice. She Cooks and Roast says, hey, Sherbert. Sonal says, Ms. She Cooks, hi. She Cooks and Roast says, hi, Sonal. So Milkmaid says, yes, ma'am, for almost 20 years. He is. He was going to make us breakfast. Remember? We're all going to go on a road trip. And we're all going to bring something with us. Kathy says, I didn't know how live stream worked. I accidentally hit live stream. I was like streaming me in my pajamas sitting on the couch. That's cool, Kathy. That's how it starts. Angela says, we don't do Taco Tuesday very often. Oh, thank you, Angela, for letting me know that. She Cooks and Rose says, hey, chat. Sherbert says, Kathy Martin, LMAO. I can see me doing something like that. It's okay. She Cooks and Roast. Oh, she's laughing. Hey, She Cooks and Roast. Welcome. Angela says, that is too funny, Kathy. I am happy you were dressed. We're happy you were dressed, Kathy. Someone says her milk plate should do a live stream. I know it. I know. Kathy Martin says, love to share, but it was embarrassing. It took me about 5 minutes to realize. Share says, Kathy Martin, I accidentally sent a Snapchat story of my head. My kid texted and said, what are you doing? My bad. I hate Snapchat. I don't do Snapchat. I don't even know how. Kathy says, the funny part is that was people were watching me. 4 people were watching. Shipper says, Kathy Martin, LOL. Someone says, Kathy, I'm pretty sure you had viewers watching. She did. Kathy says, Shipper, LOL. Shipper says, Kathy Martin, that's awesome. Kathy says, I did, Sonal. Tina says, not really. And Angela says, too cute. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Happy Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025, 9:54 a.m. in the morning. Kelly, apparently don't know how to Snapchat. I don't either, Share Bear, but you did better than I would have. Kathy says, except I was using profanity. LOL, Kathy. So Milkmaid said, if I had more time at home, I would. Although I could surprise everyone and take a day off from the traveling to make a smoked meatloaf. Interesting. Shearbear says, at least I didn't send my Ronald McDonald ad. Kathy says, I know nothing about Snapchat. I just figured live stream chat out. I know, right? Me too. I'm still working on my YouTube. I don't even know nothing about Snapchat. Lisa smiles a lot, says, what, Kathy? I am not brave enough to try going live. Why not? You don't have, just do it, Lisa. She Cooks and Rose, lovely view. Thank you, She Cooks and Rose. Thank you. Tree, some grass. Back up. Kathy says, Shearbear laughing. Kathy says, Lisa, I have nothing to live stream. She Cooks and Rose says, LOL, Shearbear. Sonal says, Kathy Martin, I sometimes accidentally hit live stream. Out my phone viewers, no. I hit live stream in my pocket, sorry. And when I took out my phone, viewers were chatting away and said, it's too dark. It's too dark in here. LOL, Sonal. Shearbear says, Sonal's all about freedom. LOL. She Cooks and Rose says, Sonal, LOL. Kathy says, I accidentally sent a nasty text to my boss. I was talking about her to my friend. I was talking about her to my friend about how I didn't like her. Oh my God, Kathy. Sonal, LOL, with love. Tina says, here it goes. Kathy says, Shearbear, that's hilarious. Sonal says, Kathy, uh-oh. Did you get in trouble? Magnetic North Adventures. Lee is here. Hi, Daisy. Hi, Lee. How are ya? Lee, I played you all day yesterday. I mean, all day. I hope that helps, and I will get you again maybe tomorrow. Magnetic North says, hi, Daisy. Hi, Sonal. Shearbear says, Kathy Martin. Oh, that sucks. I've done stuff like that, too. Lee says, hi, Kathy. Lee says, hi, Tina. Kathy says, no, I managed to lie about it. Oh, that's good, Kathy. That's good, Kathy. That's good. Lee says, hello, Shearbear. Shearbear says, Magnetic North Adventures. Good morning. I have you playing. I'm almost 4 hours in now. Thank you, Shearbear. Thank you. Kathy says, hi, Magnetic Lee. Magnetic North Adventures. Lee says, hi, She Cooks and Rose. Lisa smiles a lot, says, Kathy, how about trying in a park or somewhere you'd like to go? Lee says, thank you very much. Will help, I'm sure. Lee says, hi, Lisa. Lee says, oh, I love you all. We love you too, Lee. We'll all help you. We'll all help each other. That's what we do here. We help each other get what they want, whatever their goals may be. Your goals may be to be this great big YouTuber, and your goal may be just to have a little fun, make a little extra cash, right? Some people, it's their sole income. Some people, it's not. So thank you, everyone, for stopping in and helping me. Angela Critter says, that's a good idea, Lisa. Magnetic North says, hi, Sir Milkmaid. Kathy says, I should not have anything that requires buttons. I accidentally signed up two $70 subs through Ask a Pet, a Peacock, in the last 2 days. I should not have accident that requires buttons. I accidentally signed up two subs through Ask a Pet, a Peacock, in the last 2 days. Lee says, hello, Angela. Sir Milkmaid says, howdy, North. Lisa says, hi, Magnetic North. Kathy says, Lisa, yeah, unfortunately, I have to go to work. Kathy has to go to work. Someone says, Kathy, if you would have sent that nasty text to me, I would roll on the floor laughing. LMAO. ROFL. Moondog, Mom Dog Molly says, can you feel the love tonight? Can you feel the love? Who sings that? Bonus points for who sings Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Magnetic North says, for me, it's just have membership so it can give back to the community. Yeah, I'm going to be changing up my memberships, you guys. I'm going to be changing up my memberships. I'm getting really uncomfortable in some people's channels because that's all they do is talk about the highest tier, the number one tier, and I feel very uncomfortable with it. So I don't want to do that on my channel. I'm going to be switching it up. I'm hoping today I will let you guys all know. Magnetic North says, hello, Mom Dog. Tina says, hi, Mom Dog. Sir Milkmaid says, Lion King is now in my head. Yes, Lion King. Lee says, hi, John P. Sonal says, hi, Tina. Kathy Martin says, Sonal, I would have never said anything bad about you. I wish I could have said, yes, it's true. Mom Dog says, hello, Magnetic and Tina. Kathy says, hi, Tina. Sherbert says, Kathy Martin, LOL, and I have to go to work, too. Magnetic North says, hi, Alfredo. Sir Milkmaid says, Elton John and 2 others. That's right, Sir Milkmaid. Bada bing, bada boom. You're the winner, 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 chicken dinner. Tina says, I'm in CA due to storms on Wednesday. Kathy says, Elton John. Also right, Kathy. Ding, 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 ding. Sherbert says, one of these days, I think I will go live just to see what happens. Oh, Sherbert, you have to give us a heads up, though. You have to tell us. Sherbert says, Elton John. You're right, Sherbert. Kathy says, poor Lisa. Tina says, Elton John. Also right. Half Empty says, good morning. Hi, Half Empty. Good morning, Half Empty. Welcome. How are you today? Magnetic North says, hi, Half Empty. Mom Dog says, hey. Hey, Half, how are you? Rock Solid Passion. Hello, Daisy Mom. Hi, Rock Solid Passion. Rock Solid Passion says, hello, everyone. Lisa says, it was Elton John. That's right, Lisa. Also right. Ding, da, ding, ding, ding. We have all these winners, winners, winners. Kathy Martin says, yes, Daisy, I know I can't say it, but I had to leave one channel due to that. Yep. Me too, Kathy, because I'm just as important to a channel viewing as a viewer, as a subscriber, or a member. And some people just want their high tier members. That's all it's about. I'm not that way. It makes me uncomfortable, and I have to change mine. I'm gonna work on it today. Someone says, Kathy, I know, but I would laugh so hard. Kathy says, hi, Mom Dog. Moon Dog. I think I said that wrong. Rock Solid Passion says, hello, Lee and Sonal. Kathy says, love to Sonal. Kathy says, hi, Rock Solid. Sonal says, hi, Rock Solid. Magnetic North says, Kelly, what's that all about? I've seen a few channels want people do high memberships. Yeah, well, you can set your memberships wherever you want them. And I just did what other people were doing, and I'm uncomfortable with it. So I'm going to be changing it around. I'm still going to have them, but it's going to be different. Just give me a couple of days, and I will be letting you guys know. Mom Dog says, hi, Kathy. Kathy says, unfortunately, it wasn't pretty when I left. Oh, I wish I would have been there, Kathy. I would have had your back. I would have had your back. I don't want to go into a channel and feel like I'm not valued just because I don't pay them, or just because I don't pay them enough. You know, all of you, whether you're a viewer, a subscriber, or a member, you are all important to me. You are all important to me, and I don't want to make anybody feel the way I feel when I go into these channels. So I'm going to change my memberships around so that you guys don't feel that way. I don't want anybody to feel that way. So I'm going to be working on that today. Lisa Shearber, that'd be cool. I try to be there. Kathy says, hey, Mom Dog. Rock Solid Passion says, hey, Kathy. Tina says, Chrome and Lucina are defeating Kyogre while I'm gone. Robin, please stay safe. Thank you, Tina. Lee says, hello, Rock Solid Passion. Kathy says, not Mom Dog, dumb text. I said moon dog. I said moon dog, too. Shearber says, hey, Rock Solid Passion, good morning. Kathy Martin says, yeah, it hurt me, but it turned bad. Aw, I'm sorry, Kathy. I'm sorry. I hope I don't ever make anybody feel that way. I don't ever want anybody to feel that way when they come here. Like you're only important if you pay $5 or $10 a month or whatever it may be. You're important to me if you're just here saying hello. Mom Dog said, it's all good, Kathy. I've been called worse. Me too, Mom Dog. Sono says, Kathy, some bosses are toxic. I've been in that situation. Rock Solid says, hey, hey. Hey, Share Bear. Roll Calls Cabin. Good morning, Daisy. Hey, Roll Calls Cabin. Welcome. Share Bear says, good morning, Cabin. Sono says, Kathy, I've been called Donald a lot. Donald. That's because when you put in Sonal, it auto-corrects the Donald. Kathy says, my feelings were hurt, but I had to leave their channel. Yep. Me too, Kathy. I've done it myself. Sonal says, hey, Roll Calls Cabin. Sonal says, hi, Lee. Cabin says, good morning, Share Bear. Tina says, hi, Sonal. Title Pro says, Share Bear subbed and turn on the notification bell waiting for the live. Yes. Share Bear, which channel? If you go live, which channel would it be? Rock Solid Passion says, amen, sister. Half Empty says, hope everyone is well. Share Bear says, I understand that, Kelly. Thank you, Share Bear. Thank you, guys. Sonal says, I don't do high tier either. Yeah, the high tier is going to go away, you guys. It's going to go away. Roll Calls Cabin says, good morning, Share Bear. Kathy Martin says, it was over me being a moderator and I had no backup. Oh, I would have backed you up, Kathy. No. No, what do you got in your head? Got something on her head. Oh, I had something on your head. Hello. Hello, baby. Oh, I love you. Fluffy. Fluffy, fluffy. Say hi to everybody. Say hi, everybody. Say hello, everybody. All right. All right. Lisa says, hi, Roll Calls Cabin. Lee says, can you keep me posted, please, as I want to be there. Always feel welcome here. Thank you, Lee. I'm going to be working on all that today. Roll Calls Cabin says, good morning, Sonal. Tina says, Chrome and Lucina are defeating Kyogre in Florida. Lee says, hi, Roll Calls Cabin. Kathy says, I was being inappropriately talked to and I had no backup. Yeah, I don't allow that here, Kathy. I don't allow it. If I miss something and somebody else sees it, feel free to jump on it. Nobody here is going to be talked down to. Nobody's going to be made to feel bad. Nobody's going to be made to feel stupid. Nobody's going to be made to feel that they're not wanted. I won't allow it. I will not allow it on my channel. Rock Solid Passion, I got called out saying the host was taking gifts for their birthday, so I sent a gift. I can read the text saying it's their birthday. That's a whole nother ballgame, Rock Solid Passion. Some channels are holding their members and their viewers and their subscribers like hostage. Like they won't even talk to you unless you give them the super chat. Or you can't participate in something unless you become a member. Or stuff like that. And you know what? I have to change it. I have to change my memberships for me because it has to make me feel comfortable. And I'm not comfortable with it right now. So I'm going to change it. Lee says, hi, Title Pro. Cabin says, hi, Lisa. Kathy says, no, Daisy, you're awesome. Thank you, Kathy. You are awesome. Shearber says, Title Pro, I was already subbed to you, but with this channel, I subbed to you. I thought I was. If I ever go live, it would be Purple. Okay. It will be my other channel. Purple Share Bear may go live. I have to turn on your bell. Sonal says, I would never feel that way, Daisy. Oh, thank you, Sonal. I don't want anybody to ever feel that way. I've gone into chat rooms where people don't even say hi to me, um, where people call me old. I've been there. I know what it's like. And I don't want people to come here and feel that way. So I need to change some things up. Sonal says, hi, Title Pro. Half Empty says, I would like to say I'm doing well. Oh, Half Empty, I'm so glad you're doing well. Good morning, RC. Kathy says, my daddy was Donald. Shearbear says, good morning, Half Empty. Sonal says, hi, Half Empty. Shearbear said, would be like the other channel, the purple channel. Half Empty says, Sonal, Shearbear, and anyone that I may have missed. Magnetic says, hello, little Daisy. Shearbear says, I wish I could pay and do memberships for everyone, but instead I watch hundreds of watch hours. Shearbear, we all do our part to help people make money, right? Thank you so much for what you do for me, and I appreciate it. I really, really do appreciate you guys. I really do. Just for being here with me. That's it. Just for coming here and being here with me. Thank you. Kathy says, hi, sweet Daisy. Kevin says, hi, Half Empty. Sir Milkmaid says, I need to get Daisy a mini chef hat to wear. Yes, you do. No, you don't. I'm just kidding. Rock Solid Passion says, me too, Shearbear. Shearbear says, always, she's so sleepy. Sonal says, hi, Tina, or laughing at Tina. Rock Solid Passion says, I can't gift money, but I can gift time. Me too. I can't afford to be members on a lot of channels. I'm retired, living on a pension. You know what I mean? Doing the best I can do. Kathy says, me too, Shearbear. I try to support all. I do too, you guys. Tina says, from Kyogre. Lee says, oh my, that sweet face. Lee says, Shearbear, you're important to everyone. You are all member or not. And love talking to you as well. Tina says, Chrome calls Kyogre Beast. Shearbear says, I wouldn't let anyone talk to anyone bad in any live I'm in. Thank you, Shearbear. Thank you. Lee says, yes, I'm in a channel. I had time person out for being nasty. Sometimes you got to do that, right? Rock Solid Passion says, no. No, chat clicks here. Shearbear says, magnetic. Sorry, guys, had a phone call. That's right. Oops. I don't know what's going on here. There we go. Sorry, guys. Magnetic North. Wow, I didn't know it was like that on some channels. Yeah, it is. It is like that on some channels. Kathy Martin said, I had 3 people being inappropriate. I can take teasing, but this was way beyond, and I deleted the people and was chewed out for making them lose viewers and was called on the channel. Wow, Kathy, that's terrible. Terrible. Sonal says, I don't allow any bully Daisy. Thank you, Sonal. Me either. Kathy says, because they were losing viewers and I was nothing but kind of respectful and got them subs, right? It's terrible. People are mean. When it comes to making money, people are mean. Mom says, I may not always have the money to do it, but as long as I can afford to, I'm going to support my favorite channels. Me too, Mom Dog. I do support a lot of channels as members, but also as watching their ads, also as giving them all kinds of emojis, also as giving them all kinds of love and shouting them out and telling people to go watch them. I really do try to help everybody, you guys. I do. Shearbear says, this mama bear would go off if I saw anyone mean to anyone. Anything mean to anyone. Thank you. Somali pirate? Good morning. Oh, Somali, welcome. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. My glasses are all fogged up. Lee says, just so you know, you're all important to me no matter what. Class, you are all as friends, and I hope I make you all welcome. Thank you, Magnetic North. Lee, you do. Bella's mom says, I'm back. I had a phone call. Welcome back, Bella's mom. Somali said, hi. Hi, Somali. Rock Solid Passion says, thumbs up, mom dog. Kathy says, it was way beyond bullying. It was very inappropriate. Shame on that host for not helping you, Kathy. Shame, shame, shame. Mom dog says, good morning, Somali. Kathy says, we appreciate you. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate all of you. I really, really do. Just for being here. Lee says, hi, Bella's mom. Joe Wrestling. Morning, Daisy and everyone. Hi, Joe Wrestling. Everybody check out Joe Wrestling. How are you, Joe? Mom dog says, we appreciate you, Kelly. Thank you, Molly. Thank you. Joe says, good morning. Mom dog says, good morning, Joe. Cameron says, good morning, mom dog. Kathy says, Kelly, you're awesome just the way you are. They say you're old show, then you're a foot. Thank you, Lisa. Dundee says, we love you too, Kelly. Hey, Dundee in the gym. Dundee in the gym is here, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Rock Solid Passion says, same here, Daisy's mom. Thank you, Rock Solid Passion. Sonal says, some channels I feel hurt because I've been blocked, and there's some channels I go to and never did anything wrong to be blocked. Yeah, you know what? It's a crazy world. I'm finding out more and more that YouTube is a crazy world. Half Empty says, I did get a message last night from someone I hadn't seen before. The one of my subscribers had passed. Oh my goodness. I was glad for the communication, but still very sad. He was always a great person to converse. Oh my goodness, Half Empty. Is it somebody I know too? That's terrible. That's terrible. Bella's mom, Miss Daisy, this is Tori. I have to build this channel up. Unfortunately, YouTube took the other one. Bella's mom, I was on looking at you. Bella's mom. Everybody, you know Tori. Tori is Bella's mom. Go like and subscribe. Thank you, Tori, for letting us know. Sherbert says, I love my YouTube peeps, and most of you are with me a lot of the day and love you all. Love this chat. It's so awesome here. So much love and kindness. Thank you, Sherbert. And then, I go into chats on channels that sometimes it's not my cup of tea. It's not my thing, but I go there and say hello, give them a like, and I give them, I give them my time. I can give people my time. Right? No. It's okay. Shearber sending love. Shearber says, Bella's mom, oh no. Sir Milkmaid, we all appreciate you, Kelly, and loved by all of us. Thank you, Sir Milkmaid. I appreciate and love you guys too. Lisa says, hey, no crying, it might start raining. I'm sorry. Mom Dog says, that's so sad. Half, I'm sorry. Someone says, sorry about the typos. Lisa's, Kelly, you're amazing. You so much for everyone, and one of the nicest people I've met. Proud to have met you. Thank you, Lee. I'm proud to know you. I'm so glad I met you. It's okay, Daisy. What's the matter? What is the matter? I'm way behind, Daisy. I have to catch up. Roll calls. Kevin says, good morning, Tori. Kathy Martin. Oh my God. Kathy Martin, thank you. Oh.
What's up, neighbor?
Hi, Danny. Oh, Kathy, thank you. No, it's supposed to rain on and off all day.
All right.
Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you. Kathy, thank you. Oh my God, Kathy, thank you so much. Someone says, be not fet. I knew what you meant. Sir Bonks a lot. Hey, Mom Dog. Hey, Daisy. Hey, Share Bear. Hi, Sir Bonks a lot. How are you, Addison? Welcome. Roll Calls Cabin says, Lee, how you doing? Share Bear says, half empty. Oh no. 2 of my YouTube creators I followed died this year. So sad. Kathy says, because I love and appreciate you. Oh, I wish I could give you a big hug, Kathy. Thank you. Thank you. You are so sweet. Kathy Martin, you are so sweet. Thank you so much. Mom Dog says, hey, Addison. Joe Wrestling, morning, Mom Dog, morning, Kathy. Joe's doing, Joe, I hope you're doing good. Shipper says, Kathy Martin, what a sweetheart. She is a sweetheart, isn't she? Regardless of what she just did, She is a wonderful woman. Kathy Martin's a wonderful woman. And then on top of it, look at, she's such a generous, generous soul. Kathy, thank you so much. Bella's mom says, good morning, roll call. Sherbert says, good morning, or hi, sir, bonks a lot. Kathy says, I love this channel. Thank you, Kathy. I love that you're here. Rock Solid Passion, we have had the flooding and tornadoes, still rebuilding from them, so I can support anyone. I can't support anyone, let alone myself right now, but if the channel doesn't understand, I won't be a viewer, plain and simple. You got it, Rock Solid Passion. I love my viewers. I love my viewers, subscribers, and my members. I love them all. I want them all to feel welcome. I don't want anybody not to feel welcome. I don't want anybody feeling uncomfortable. Thank you, Rock Solid Passion, for being here. Sheer Bear says, good morning, Joe. Wrestling. Half Empty says, Sheer, that's tough. Kathy Martin says, Rock Solid Love. Joe says, good morning, Sheer Bear. Rock Solid says, wow, Kathy, that's crazy. You did your mod job and you were shunned for it. I know it. I wish I would have been there. Sono says, hi, Sir Bunks a lot. And Zed says, laters. Bye, Zed. Thank you, Zed, for being here. Have a great, wonderful, wonderful day, Zed. I hope to see you later. Sir Bunks a lot says, hey, Sono. Sherbert says, hey, Rock Solid Passion. Kathy Martin says, yeah, it really hurt my feelings, but I was just a number, I guess. The umbrella fell over, Days. That's all it was. Yep, to some people, you are just a number. And some people, some channels make you feel like you're just there to buy their subscribers or to buy their members. Like, they just want you around to buy their members, and they buy their members all the time, and then they brag about how many members they have. But it's not my gig. I'm just uncomfortable with it. Stardashian sub to you, Kathy. Thank you, Stardashians. Sherbert says, Zeds, have a blessed day. Rock Solid Passion says, thank you. Thank you, Rock Solid Passion. The Reinhardt's channel says, good morning, my friends. Hi, Reinhardt's channel. Kathy Martin says, thank you, Stardashians. Me too. Joel Wrestling says, I'm so sorry to hear that, Kathy. Stardashian says, hey, Half Empty. Sherbert says, Reinhardt's channel, good morning. Lisa Sonal, I'm sad. Here, you've been blocked in channels. You will never be blocked here or with me. No, I won't block you, Sonal. I think you're fantastic. Kathy says, thanks, Joe. Stardashians, thanks for subbing. Magnetic says, hi, Star. Star says, hey, Jack. Sherbert says, Dundee in the gym, good morning. Dundee in the gym. You missed Ann, buddy. Kathy says, my absolute pleasure. Oh, Kathy, thank you. You're so sweet. Magnetic says, hi, Joe. Kathy says, love to Lisa. Stardashian says, hello, Magnetic. Joe says, hi, Magnetic. Stardashian says, you're all our friends. Everybody check out the Reinhardt's channel, too. Don't forget. Roll Call's Cabin says, hello, Eric. Magnetic North says, hi, Reinhardt. Kathy says, I'm very sensitive. We are. As women, a lot of us. Me too, Kathy. I get my feelings hurt a lot, but that's on me. That's not on the person that's doing it. It's on me for being so sensitive. Yeah. Joe says, I'm doing good. Wonderful, Daisy. Good, Joe. Reinhardt's channel says, hi, Magnetic. Joe says, hi, Stardashians. Lee says, hi, Reinhardt's channel. I'm connected to you. Rock Solid Passion says, Daisy's mom, you are sensitive like I can tell. Yep. I can feel things like, more than others. Deeply, right? Deeply. And I wear my heart on my sleeve, you guys. I do. If I'm happy, you know I'm happy. If I'm sad, you know I'm sad. If I'm mad, you know I'm mad. Right? Someone says, people ask me what the leaderboard is for. I explain that if you send a super chat or if you chat, you get a crown. I got 2 super chat donations, but never explained it for donation. Yeah, I don't even know what that all is. Rock Salad says, me too, Kathy. Lee says, hi, Dundee. Reinhardt's channel says, Magnetic, I connected to you as well. Thank you, Reinhardt's channel. Rock Solid Passion says, you can feel energy even through a screen. You can. You absolutely can, Rock Solid Passion. You can. Kathy says, I wish everyone here the best of success. And so do I, Kathy. I do too. I hope everyone fulfills their dreams. I really do. Kathy says, I hear you, Daisy. Thank you, Kathy. Joe says, thank you, Kathy. That means a lot. You are a really good person. She is. She's fantastic. Mom Dog said, likes and views are priceless. Rock Solid Passions is right. I know everyone doesn't like rocks, but I have many that come to support. Rock Solid Passion, did I tell you what happened last week? I have to find it too. I went home. We went home. Last week we were back home, and my granddaughter came up to me when I first saw her, and she gave me a rock. And my granddaughter says, Grandma, this rock is for you. And like just, and right away, Rock Solid Passion, I thought about you. She gave me this little tiny rock. And I thought about Rock Solid Passion. Thank you for being here, Rock Solid Passion. Share Bear says, Tori, I sub with both my channels. Thank you, Share Bear. The Sardashian says, hey, Joe. The Reinhardt's channel says, love you, Daisy. I love you too, Reinhardt's channel. You have a lovely family and children. They're all rollerblading, out playing hockey, having fun. Check them out. Kathy says, I love rocks. Me too. You know who else loves rocks? Ann's place. Ann loves rocks too. The Sardashian sub to you, Joe, man. I haven't watched wrestling in a long time. Joe's great, you guys. Shipper says, half empty, do you know the person who passed? Reinhardt sending Share Bear love. Joe Wrestling says, thank you so much, the Sardashians. The Stardashians. Magnetic North says, Rock Solid, I love your channel. Sonal says, I go super crazy if there is some bullying going on in some lives I go to. I would never tolerate it, even in my channel. Thank you, Sonal. Thank you. Here either. There's no place for that here. You want to be mean? Go be mean somewhere else. Right? Rock Solid Passion says, I saw your rock video months ago, Kathy. Handmade and homegrown says, Daisy May, you are so kind. And yes, it may be not our cup of tea, but it's really easy to say hi and support each other. That's right, handmade and homegrown. Just stop in and give somebody your time. Say hello. Give them a like. Throw some heart emojis up. You know, whatever. Whoops. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. You're right, handmade and homegrown. Magnetic Lee says, hi, homemade. Stardashians, thanks for subbing, handyman. The Reinhardt's channel says, hey, Stardashians. Lee says, doing great here, thanks. Awesome. The Stardashian says, hi, handmade. Half empty says, share. I believe you might have seen him. His name was Corey D. Corey D. Whoever's giving us the love, thank you for the love. The Stardashian says, hey, Jack, how you doing, my friend? Kathy says, aw, thank you. Kathy says, you're very welcome. Thank you, Kathy. You're so sweet. The Sardashian says, so glad I met this community. You guys are so supportive. We are. I try to support everybody I can, and everybody here is very supportive, very loving, very caring. Thank you, Eric. Someone says, Kathy, I really don't care if I lose subs or viewers in my channel from bullies. I always keep my channel bully-free. It's a bully-free zone, right? Joe says, I agree, Daisy. Kathy is wonderful, and you are wonderful, too. Thank you, Joe. Half Empty says, hi, Eric. Sardashians, hey, what's happening, Half Empty? Someone says, Kathy, did they take your wrench away when you did that? If so, I will be upset. Rock Solid Passion says, hey, handmade and homegrown, just sub to your channel. Thank you, Rock Solid Passion. Kathy Martin says, hey, Joe, sending you some love. Half Empty says, Eric, another gloomy, rainy day. Here, too, Half Empty. Here, too. Handmade and homegrown says, thank you, Rock Solid Passion. Oliver, Stray Kids Lover. Hi, Oliver. Oliver in school. Welcome, Oliver. How are ya? Lee says, Kathy, I subscribed. Thank you, Lee. Someone says, Kathy's a good person. Kathy's fantastic, you guys. And if I would have been there, I would have been... You might hear me say something I never said before if anything like that goes down here. Kathy says, channels are supposed to make you feel good, not cause anxiety. That's right, Kathy. That's right. Exactly right. Bushka, hi, Daisy. May appreciate your blessings. Everyone, hi, Bushka. Welcome, Bushka, Bushka. Bushka's from Ireland, everybody. Say hello. Kathy says, thank you, Magnetic. Lee says, hi, Bushka. Kathy says, me too. Mom Dog says, I want people who visit my lives to feel special. Just the way you make your viewers feel special, Kelly. Thank you, Molly. I do try to make people feel special and heard and welcome. Abigail says, hi, Mom Dog. Hey, Abigail. Oliver says, I'm in school, and he's crying. Don't cry, Oliver. Abigail says, hi, Oliver. Mom Dog says, hey, Abigail. Half Empty says, hi, Abigail. Abigail says, hi, Stardashians. Half Empty says, hi, Mom Dog. Abigail says, I love you guys. We love you too, Abigail. Thank you, thank you. Rock Solid Passion says, the Stardashians, I sub to your channel. Dundina Jib says, Anne was here. Yes, you missed her. Mom Dog says, hi, have. Magnetic says, hello, Abigail. Rock Solid Passion says, Shearbear, can you drop the link to your other channel? Alvin, hi, Daisy May. Hi, Alvin. Welcome, Alvin. Everybody say hi to Alvin. Oliver says, someone get me out of math. Alvin says, like 57. What? Thank you, Alvin. Dundee in the gym's here. Hey, Dundee, my buddy. Kathy says, I'm certainly not perfect, but I try to treat people with respect. Me too, Kathy. Me too. Me too. Me too. Bushka says, hey, Magnetic North, Mom Dog, Abigail, Half Empty, Rock Solid, Oliver, Kathy, and Alvin. Hello. Lisa says, I'm going to Florida and hug and tickle you to make you laugh. Thank you, Lisa. I would love to meet you someday. Magnetic says, hi, Alvin. Alvin says, hi, everyone. Abigail says, hi, Bushka. Sonal says, hi, Bushka. Half Empty says, hi, Bushka. Abigail says, hi, Alive. Alvin says, hi, Abigail. Dundee says, hey, y'all can't type much. That's okay. Thanks for being here, Dundee. Alvin says, hi, Bushka. Rock Solid says, no. Nope. Sonal says, I can't keep up with the chat. Rock Solid says, Half Empty subs to your channel. Rock Solid says, oh, super cool. Bushka says, hey, Dundee and Sono, hi. Rock Solid says, love. Thank you, sending us love, Rock Solid passion. Alvin says, hi, Half Empty, and hi, Sono. Bushka says, hi, Bushka. Bushka sending love too, hi, Bushka. Alvin says, hi, Rock Solid. Mom Dog says, hey, Bushka. Bushka's using emojis. Cabin says, hi, Bushka. Rock Solid Passion says, thank you, Lee, you rock. I love watching yours as well. Bushka says, hey, Roll Calls Cabin. Magnetic North. Thank you. You're all my kind of people, total respect. Thank you, Magnetic North Lee. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are so sweet, Lee. Thank you so much. Aw, thank you, guys. Thank you, Kathy and Lee. Thank you. Mom Dog says, I hate. That's right. Rock Solid Passion says, hello, Bushka. I agree with you, Molly. Sono says, Kathy Martin, you're safe in my channel. Yes. Half Empty says, Mom Dog, me too. Rock Solid. I was rock hounding in video out Wednesday, Magnetic says. Video out tomorrow, Lee. Bushka says, hi. Hi, Bushka. Welcome. Rock Solid Passion says, awesome, I'll watch it. Danny, hi, Danny. Danny, how are ya? Danny says, hi, Bushka. Sherbert says, Half Empty. Not sure, but regardless, my heart goes out to all who knew him. Yes. Condolences to the family and friends. Sherbert says, hi, Danny. Cabin says, hi, Rock Solid. Mom Dog says, hi, Danny. Sherbert says, hi, Alvin. Alvin says, hi, Sherbert. Sherbert says, hi, Bushka. Rock Solid Passion says, Cabin, good to see you. How are you? Bushka says, hi, Danny. Danny says, hi, Rock Solid Passion. Lee says, hi, Danny. Alvin says, hi, Mom Dog. Bushka says, hi, Sherbert. Sherbert says, hi, Oliver. Kathy Martin says, yes, my wrench was taken away, but I'm glad. What? That's insane, Kathy. I wouldn't even go back there. I would never even go back there. Bushka says, hi. Danny says, hey, Shearbear. Alvin says, hi, Kathy. Cabin says, Rock, I'm good. Thanks for asking. Hope you're doing well. Half Empty says, Shearbear. Thank you. I reached back out to the individual that messaged me, but I haven't heard anything back. Kathy Martin says, hi, Alvin. I subbed. Alvin says, hi, Roll Calls Cabin. Danny says, hi, Mom Dog. Kathy says, I gave them back my wrench. Oh, good, Kathy. I wouldn't go back there ever. Alvin says, hi, Kathy. Someone says, sorry, Daisy. Don't mean to bring negativity in here. It's just that I am protective of people who I love, even in here. Oh, Sonal, don't be sorry. Sonal, that's what makes you so special. Sonal, those are your gifts. See, everybody gets gifts from above, from the man above. And Sonal, that is your gift. So don't be sorry. Thank you for having my back and everybody's back who comes in to see us. Cabin says, hi, Alvin. Danny says, hi, Alvin. Lee says, hope everyone is well. Thank you, Lee. I hope you are too. Kathy says, Sonal, that isn't negative. That is awesome. Absolutely right. Danny says, hi, Lee. Title Pro says, hey, Bushka. Prairie prospecting. Excuse me. Good morning, Miss Daisy. Good morning, Prairie Prospecting. Good to see ya. Alvin says, hi, Danny. Danny says, hey, Kathy Martin. Sonal says, Kathy, thanks. Cabin says, hi, Danny. Joel Wrestling says, hi, Prairie. Alvin says, hi, Magnetic. Danny says, hi, Roll Call. Prairie says, hi, friends. Prairie Prospecting is here. Everyone say hello. Sonal says, hey, Joe and Prairie. Kathy says, hi, Danny. Rock Solid Passion says, watching your video now, Roll Calls Cabin. Thank you, Rock Solid. Alvin says, hi, Joe Wrestling. Sherbert says, here's my link to the other channel. Sonal says, hi, Alvin. Kathy says, which one is Eric? Eric is the Stardashians. Eric is the Stardashians. Danny says, hi, Total Pro. Roll Calls Cabin says, hey, Prairie Prospecting. Alvin says, hi, Sonal. Bushka says, hi, Title Pro and Prospecting. Hi. Kathy says, got it, Share Bear. Sonal says, Kathy, Stardashians. Kathy Martin says, hi, Bushka. Kathy says, hi, Sonal. Title Pro says, Danny, what's up? Sonal says, hey, Dundee. Danny says, hi, Prairie Prospecting. Sherry says, good morning, Prairie Prospecting. Sonal says, wow, 20 people. Whoa, 20 people. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I haven't even been looking up there. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bushka says, hi, Kathy. Cabin says, thanks, Rock Solid. Kathy says, Matic, you are awesome. He is awesome. Lee is fantastic. Danny says, Sonal's all about freedom. Hi. Sonal says, hi, Danny. Bushka says, hi, Joe Wrestling. Danny says, hi, Alvin. Kathy says, I remember when I first came here and there was 6 people. And yet, Daisy, you were so appreciative. I was. Whether there's 6 people or 16 or 2 or 20. Thank you. Aw, Kathy, I gotta pin that because it makes me cry. Thank you, Kathy. That's so sweet of you to say. Joe says, hi, Alvin, and hi, Bushka. Kathy says, got your Title Pro. Danny says, hi, Half Empty. Lee says, hi, Prairie. Half Empty says, I do YouTube for fun. If it becomes work, then I will just sit back. I love having subs, but outside, I never want money. Just a good place for people to connect and interact in a peaceful place. Thank you, Half Empty. I'm doing it just to support my retirement. You know, I retired in 2020, and things have gotten, severely, increasingly more expensive. So I need to make a little extra cash, and that's what I do. But I'm not out to take anybody over the coals, you know. If anybody wants to donate, I say thank you and I appreciate it. But I don't want anybody to feel like they have to. Half Empty, I'm on your side. Half Empty says, Danny, hey. Alvin says, yes, Daisy has a beautiful community. Thank you, Alvin. We love you, Alvin. Sonal says, if anyone bullies me in my channel, I just laugh at them and feed them the cookie emojis. We call them Troll House cookies. Troll House cookies. I love it, Sonal. Kathy says, got your Prairie. Danny says, hey, Rock Solid. Kathy says, got your Half Empty. Sherbert says, Kelly, you aren't going fast enough. I don't know what's behind it. I'm afraid to look. Danny says, hi, Danny. Half Empty says, thank you, Kathy. Sonal is all about freedom, says Sherbert, I gave up. Kathy says, and I will watch your channels. I enjoy all the different unique content. Thank you, Kathy Martin. Thank you. Lee says, Half Empty, I've subbed you. Sherbert says, Sonal is all about freedom, LOL. Rock Solid Passions is sub to your channel, Danny. Danny says, hi, Abigail. Kathy says, I try to watch everyone. Prairie Prospecting says, sub to Bushka. Joe Wrestling says, I sub to Rock Solid. Danny says, Dundee in the gym. Hey, Half Empty says, I post things I enjoy. It may not be for everyone, that's okay. But streams are for everyone, and peace. Show people some grace is what I like to end with. Oh, Half Empty, I love that. Mom Dog says, hello, Prairie Prospecting. Prairie says, howdy, Mom Dog. Danny says, Oliver. Hi, Oliver. Kathy says, okay, it isn't as obvious as Kathy Martin. Magnetic North says, I'm sorry, everyone, I have to go. Have a wonderful day. See you soon. Bye, Lee. Thank you so much. Magnetic North Adventures. Check them out. Rock Solid says 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. I have a premiere. Everyone is welcome to come. Love to see you there. Yes, tomorrow, Wednesday, Rock Solid Passion has a premiere at 9:30 a.m. Have to go. Have a great day. Everyone, thanks for being awesome. Oh, thank you, Rock Solid Passion. We will look for your premiere tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Rock Solid says, bye, Lee. Danny says, Dundee in the gym. Hey. Kathy says, bye, Magnetic. Have a great day. Nice meeting you. Lee's wonderful, Kathy. You will love him. Sherbert says, Lee, Magnetic North Adventures, enjoy and have a blessed rest of your day. Cabin says, take care, Rock Solid. Sonal says, take care, Lee. Kathy says, I feel the love. I feel the love. Cabin says, Lee, take care, buddy, and have a good one. Sherbert says, Rock Solid Passion will be there. Have a great, blessed day. Danny says, Daisy, I hope you have a great morning. Thank you, Danny. I hope you do too. Mom Dog says, Rock Solid Passion, I sub to you and I'll be working, but try to have you running in the background. Thank you, Molly. That's great. Joe says, I got to get going. See you, Daisy, Kathy, and everyone. Take care, guys. Bye, Joe Wrestling. Thank you so much for being here. Mom Dog says, take care, Joe. Sonal says, Kathy, Daisy, everyone here is awesome. You're awesome, Sonal, too. Kathy says, bye, Joe. Have a great day, my friend. Sonal says, take care. Kathy says, Sonal, love to you. Danny says, hi, the Reinhardt's channel. Kathy says, I donate because I want to never feel obligated. I don't want anybody to feel obligated, ever. If I ever make somebody feel that way, please, please, please tell me, because I don't ever want anybody to feel that way. Cabin says, Joe, have a good day. Kathy says, Troll House cookies. Isn't that good? Danny says, hi, handmade and homegrown. Prairie says, sub to Kathy Martin. Half Empty says, Miss Daisy, please don't take offense. I know and totally understand your intentions. Oh, thank you, Half Empty. I know you do. I know you do. Kathy says, love to Prairie. Danny says, hey, Joe Wrestling. Sonal says, I tried to donate again to you, but YouTube told me you already donated enough. I love that, Sonal. That's good. Thank you, Sonal. Kathy says, love to Sonal. Danny says, hey, the Stardashians. Kathy says, I was on a channel watching a turtle sleep for hours. Really, Kathy? That sounds really cool, though. Sonal says, Kathy, I donate because it's the thought that counts. Sonal says, Kathy says, Sonal, absolutely. Half Empty said, I still have a ways to go before retirement, but I understand completely. I can tell your intentions, Miss Daisy. Yeah, I'm trying to supplement. I also have Etsy, and I also do eBay. So I'm out there, you know, trying to make extra money on these things that I do, just to help me a little bit. That's all. That's all I do. I do it just to help myself a little bit. Sonal says, take care, Rock Solid. Kathy says, just being there means more than a donation. Donating is just extra. Yeah, I love that you're all here. I love that you're here. Kathy says, I don't like calling myself out. Alvin says, bye, Joe. Lisa says, I wish I could give to channels. Lisa, don't worry about it. You are by being here. You are giving to channels by being here, Lisa. Thank you so much. Kathy says, Daisy, you never make anyone feel that way. I think I'm speaking for everyone on here. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much. Kathy, my sister. Kathy says, me too, Lisa. Sonal says, Kathy, they get mad when I bring up the cookie joke. I love it, Sonal. Kathy says, Sonal, I love it. Mom Dog says, you do give to channels. Lisa smiles a lot. Your likes and views are everything. They are. Your views and your likes are amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. I don't donate just to anyone. It's about how they treat people. That's right, Kathy. Good, thank you. Mary says, I switched to computer to watch ads, getting ready to go to work. Thank you, Mary. Mary, thank you, girl. Everybody check out Mary's gigs, too. Don't forget. Half Empty said, I do need to check out Etsy. I have a few friends that have been doing their small business on Etsy. Oh, I'm working on Etsy stuff. My Etsy store has gone really way down because a friend of mine here, she buys a lot of my stuff. So I have to take it down and sell it to her. But I'm working on more stuff, Half Empty. I'm trying to get ready for the holidays. Kathy says, everyone I donate to, certain people because of their kindness. Aw, Kathy, you're the kind one. Kathy said, hi, Mary. Alvin says, bye for me now, Miss Daisy. Gonna go for work. More blessings to you, Miss Daisy. Thank you, Alvin. Everybody check out our friend Alvin. He's such a good-looking young man, hard-working guy. Sonal says, Daisy, I'm glad I made you laugh. I love you, Sonal. You're so good. Kathy says, I post videos because I love my wildlife and like to share them. And Kathy, that's what a lot of us love. A lot of us love the outdoors, the wildlife, the nature, you know. We have rain. It's raining. That's why I didn't move the couch back. We have some rain going on. All right. Kathy says, bye, Alvin. Nice to meet you. Oh, Alvin's great, you guys. Go check him out. Sherbert says, Alvin, have a blessed day. Lisa says, cookies for everyone. Lisa. We got to pin you, Lisa. Cookies for everyone. I love it. Sonal says, take care, Alvin. Sonal says, thanks, Lisa. What kind of cookies? Oh, Sir Milkmaid wants to know what kind of cookies. They look like chocolate chip. Who doesn't like chocolate chip cookies? All right, we're going to close this poll out because last night I forgot. Okay, do you have tacos on Tuesday? 61% said no, not really. And 38% yes, yum, yum, yummy. And I'm going to put up a real quick poll because you're talking about cookies. And the poll is going to say, all right, I had to do it, Lisa. I had to do it. Lisa says the yummy kind. The yummy kind. That's right, Lisa. Someone says, Lisa, but don't tell the Cookie Monster I stole his cookies. Macadamia. Kathy says, and Mount Cole Forge. Do you like chocolate chip cookies? Do you like chocolate chip cookies? Do you like chocolate chip cookies? Some people don't like them. I like them. I gotta say, I think chocolate chip cookies are my favorite. They're my favorite. Half empty, to be fair. I ate so many chocolate chip cookies so much as a kid, I avoid them now. You avoid them. Oatmeal at home is my go-to. Oatmeal are good too. Coffee cake emoji. Hi, coffee cake. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, coffee cake emoji. Welcome. Someone said, I love raspberry cookies and chocolate chip. I've never had raspberry cookies. Never had them. Are they good? Someone says, hey, coffee cake emoji. Sharebear says, hi, Bish. Mom Dog says, hi, Bish. Coffee cake emoji says, hi, Sonal. Hi, coffee cake. Good to see you. Kathy says, Mount Cole Forge rescued a parrot, and he's hand raising the baby. He stays up and hand feeding him and saved his life. Oh, how beautiful, Kathy. That's beautiful. Prairie says, love chocolate chip cookies. Me too, Prairie. I'm with ya. So Milkmaid says, not my favorite, but still good with a cool glass of milk for dunking. Coffee Cake says, hi, Bish. Bish says, Sharebread and Mom Dog, hi. Sonal says, they're really good. I got them from Subway. Oh, Subway has the best cookies. Subway has great chocolate chip cookies. You got them one time. Cabin says, homemade peanut butter cookies. I make them all the time. Cabin, I make homemade peanut butter all the time. I love homemade peanut butter cookies. They're so good. Kathy says, I love Subway. Coffee Cake says, hey, Kathy and Prairie. Half Empty says, I went to my local cookie shop. They have an amazing lemon cookie with lemon custard in the middle. I love lemon. That sounds delicious. Half Empty, lemon, that lemon cookie sounds delicious. Someone says, maybe Nature Guy is right. I am the typo king. Lisa says, I love all kinds of cookies, maybe a cookie monster. Prairie says, hi, Bish. Kathy says, I have good recipe for peanut butter cookies, no flour. Oh, and they're good, Kathy? I've heard of no flour cookies. I've never tried them, though. Sir Milkmaid says, the best snack I ever had was Little Debbie Spice Cakes. We gotta put that up. I've never had those. Are they good, Sir Milkmaid? Bish says, Sir Milkmaid and Roll Calls Cabin. Hey, Kathy says, I love, love, love no bakes. Abigail says, hi, Coffee. Sir Milkmaid says, howdy, Bish. Cabin says, hi, Bish. Coffee Cake says, I love oatmeal raisin. And the peanut butter. Oh, look it. Helicopter. Helicopter. Kathy says, hi, Coffee Cake. Half Empty says, I went in the other day and they had root beer float cookie. Half Empty. Where is this place? Kathy says, yes, I even make them right. Coffee Cake says, Abby to the Gale, hi. Kathy says, I love Dairy Queen. Ooh, I love Dairy Queen too. Yum. Dairy Queen is expensive. Yeah, ice cream is expensive. We have an ice cream store here that if you go get one scoop of ice cream, it's $9. One scoop of ice cream is $9. One scoop, $9. Needless to say, we don't go there anymore. Coffee Cake says, hi, Half Empty. Kathy says, 35 for 3 people. Yeah, 35, isn't that crazy? Half Empty says, hey, Coffee Cake. Lisa says, hey, Sir Milkmaid, they are yummy. Half Empty says Mary's Mountain Cookies. Ooh, Mary's Mountain Cookies. Sounds delicious. Kathy says, I love the Buster Bars, but I eat the chocolate off and leave the rest. You just like the chocolate? Abigail says, hi, Half Empty. Sir Milkway says, they were delicious but got discontinued. Oh, okay. They sound delicious because I love, like if you make a spice cake with chocolate frosting, I love that. Half Empty says, hey, Abigail, hope you're doing well. Kathy says, what was that Sir Milkmaid? He was talking about Little Debbie spice cakes. Little Debbie spice cakes. I love carrot cake. I love spice cake. I like vanilla cake. I like chocolate cake. I like lemon cake. A small square filled with love and sugar. It sounds delicious. Lisa says we need to come up with a Daisy May cookie. I like it. A Daisy May cookie. Well, we have to pin that up, that's for sure. A Daisy May cookie. Yes, I like that idea. Kathy says daughter bought me a huge tub of frosting for my birthday. Well, that's good. Is it your favorite frosting, Kathy? I hope it's your favorite. I hope she bought you your favorite frosting. That's a great idea, Daisy cookie. That's right, we have to come up with an idea. Homemade vanilla. Oh, really? Homemade vanilla. Someone says, Kathy, I don't do content for money. I do content because it's fun. Me too. I do it for fun. Because I want to show you my dog. And now I'm showing you my cat. I'm showing you my world. I want to brag about what my kids got me for Mother's Day. Go ahead, Kathy. Have at it. I think you told me, but keep going. Half Empty says, a friend of mine, she makes this banana pudding, lasagna. It's amazing. My wife makes a cheesecake. Knock your socks off. Oh, I love cheesecake. Although I do love my mama's cheesecake. Kathy says, Sona, you are an awesome person. Lisa says, that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. Cheesecake. I have a really good cheesecake recipe from my mom. It's an old recipe from like 1950, but it is so good. Just boring in this, just boring in this area. Oh, in this area, yeah. They got me a video of Almanzo Wilder from Little House on the Prairie talking directly to me. I love Little House. Really? Kathy, that is so special. I have to pin that because that's how special that is. They got me a video of Almanzo Wilder from the Little House on the Prairie talking directly to me. I love Little House. Oh, Kathy, that's a beautiful gift. Lisa says, that's awesome, Kathy. That is awesome. That's a beautiful gift. Someone says, I always tell my viewers you don't have to donate, but they tell me they donate because I'm awesome. Yeah, it's nice when people donate because they want to, right? Because they appreciate you, or they love what you're doing, or because you're taking the time to help them, or whatever the reason. But to, it almost like ostracize everybody else because your members are your elite. Sorry, I don't go for that. Kathy says, yeah, wishing me a happy Mother's Day and how I need to have more confidence. Yes, Kathy. You know what else? You have to just say how amazing you are. You have to tell yourself how wonderful you are every single day. You have to tell yourself that people love you and you are a good person. Share says Sonal's all about freedom because you are awesome. Kathy says, Sonal, you are worth millions. Sonal says, I was shedding tears of joy. Aw, Sonal, that's so sweet. Share says, half empty sounds so good. Half empty says, milkmaid, it's super easy. Croissant rolled out, cheesecake filling, another layer of croissant with cinnamon and sugar and butter. Yum. Oh my God. That sounds really good, half empty. Kathy says, yum, half empty. Sonal says, Share Bear, and Kathy, aw, thank you. Lisa says, you are awesome, Sonal. Ugh, not Donald. Kathy says, yeah, you can't be on a channel where you're being treated bad and get your feelings hurt. Nope. And I know people don't do it on purpose, you know what I mean? But there's some channels I just can't go in anymore because I just feel like I'm not important to the host, to the channel. Half empty says banana lasagna. If you like banana pudding with the wafers, it is delicious. Half empty. Wow, you have some really good ideas for desserts. Kathy says, I was really hurt. I bet you were, Kathy, because I'm really hurt too from a channel lately. Like, I don't matter. Half empty says, I think she got it off Pinterest. Super easy. Nice. Nice. Awesome. My mom used to go on Pinterest all the time. I've only been on Pinterest a couple different times. Hi, Hammy and Son. Hammy and Son said hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hammy and Son. Thank you for stopping in. Friends of Dashers and more. Colleen's here. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Hammy. Hi, Colleen. Kathy says, I was there almost every night for a year, and I supported them. I donated, but I was always bragging to others and encouraging. It was thrown in my face and basically told, oh, well, see ya. That's terrible, Kathy. I am so sorry that happened to you. Some people's channels, once they get monetized, it's all about the money. They really don't even really care about us anymore. It's all about how much money can they get. And I'm not that way. Kathy says, hey, Hammy. Half empty says, I like the food ideas. Me too. Me too. Yeah, Kathy, I'm really sorry that happened to you. That stinks. Kathy says, I subbed. So Milkmaid says, howdy, friend. Howdy, Hammy and Son. Hammy says, hey, Kathy. Someone says, Kathy, I never take anyone's mod for no reason. My mods do well to block people who are rude and bullies others. When I don't have mods, I do the blocking myself. Me too. Hammy says, money is not worth it. I'm more about connection. Yes, more about the connection. More about, getting to know people, getting to know your viewers. People who come back all the time, finding out how are they? How's their life? Treating people nice. Kathy says, Daisy, I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, and I still care about his channel. Oh, Kathy, I do. Okay, now I do. Really? That happened to you there, Kathy? Wow. I'm so sorry, Kathy. I do know who you're talking about. Sherber says, hi, Hammy and Son. Lisa says, Kathy, this is for the hater. Thank you, Lisa. Kathy says, I stuck up for this person and stayed on the live stream until 5 a.m. Oh, Kathy. Tell him to talk to the hand from now on. Half empty says, I do make a taco lasagna. I use Doritos, so it's not really good for you, but it tastes good, and that's what counts, right? That is what counts, half empty. That sounds delicious. Hammy says, hey, Share Bear. Someone says, Kathy, I'm sorry. This has happened to you. This channel been monetized, and I don't really care about money because I do work, but live streaming is my side job. Shilber says, I love you all and getting busy in the background, so I wanted to tell you I love you. And I wish you all a very blessed day. I'll be here still, but in case you leave before I can actually type. Shilber, we love you. Thank you so much. Shilber, she's just so supportive and so sweet and so kind. Kathy says, yes, I was being bombarded with inappropriate comments while he was bragging about his numbers. The first time I ever complained to him. Kathy. Kathy sending love to Share Bear. We love you, Share Bear. Aw, Kathy, I'm sorry. I had to leave that. You know, I left that chat one time too because it just wasn't my thing. But you were always in there, watching and supporting. That's terrible, Kathy. I am so sorry. Sheer Bear sending love. Sir Milkmaid says, oh, thanks, Sheer Bear with love. Cabin says, Sheer Bear, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you, Cabin. Kathy says, I still support him. You do? Why, Kathy? Why do you do that? Don't. I got him subs and he ran them off and I felt so bad. Yeah, he kind of ran me off too a little bit, but that's just me, you know. Shearber says, love to roll calls, Cabin. Colleen says, Kathy, sub to you. Friends of Dashers and more, that's Colleen. Everybody say hi. Colleen, how are ya? So good to see you, Colleen. Someone says, Kathy, which channel is it? So that way I can stay away from channels like that. Lisa says, Kathy, you seem to be an awesome lady. Kathy says, I mean, I still want him to do good. You can want him to do good and do it from afar. I certainly wouldn't give him any more of your money, that's for sure. But if you want to support him as far as viewership goes, I understand. Sonal says, hey, Colleen. Kathy says, Lisa, back at ya. Back at ya. Thank you, everyone, for still hanging out. Stopped raining. Oh, no, it didn't. Yes, it did. Can you feel the love tonight? Hey, doesn't this look like a face? Look at it right there. Doesn't it look like a face, kind of? Kathy says, thank you, Dasher. Me too. Sonal says, hi, Colleen. Kathy says, Lisa, back at ya. Kathy says, oh, no, no money. Good. Don't be doing that. He threw that in my face and basically said your donations weren't nothing. Oh, my God. You know what? I would never even go back, Kathy. I wouldn't even go back and support him. Absolutely not. Mm-mm. Sorry, I shouldn't say anything. No, I wouldn't say the channel. I'm sorry, Sonal. I would not say the channel. Half Empty says, Kathy, I'm sorry you had those issues. Someone says, Kathy, you don't have to say sorry. Kathy says, thank you. That's terrible, Kathy. I'm not good, Kathy. Someone says, no worries. All right, boys and girls, we're going to take off for now. We're going to go have some breakfast. Oh, yeah, my friend Kristen. Say hi. That's my friend Kristen. All right. Kathy says, I still wish him well. I went back on after, and I said, no more. He hurt my feelings. I even commented that. Yep. You don't need your feelings hurt. Mm-mm. Anyone want to help me wrestle my self-loathing LOL? Sir Milkmaid. Kathy says, hi, Kristen. Hi, everybody. Mom, dog, take care. Kelly and chat. Thank you, guys. Sonal says, Kathy, I got your back. We're going to take off and go have some food. Prairie says, thanks for the live. Thank you, Prairie Prospecting. And everybody say hello and check out everybody's channels. We hope to be back this afternoon with some Scrabble, and we will be back tonight with crossword puzzles. So check us out this afternoon and tonight. Title Pro says, thanks for the chat, Daisy May's mama. Thank you, Title Pro. Thank you for stopping in. Someone says, thank you for the stream. Thank you, guys. Sir Milkway says, I'm bored today, ready for the next trip. Where are you going on the next trip? Cabin says, Kelly, have a wonderful day. Thank you, Cabin. You too. Share Bear sending love. Lisa says, have a great rest of the day. Kathy says, and even he called me out on the live stream. Thank you, Sonal. Everyone have a great day. I enjoyed chatting with y'all. We need to close the poll, guys. I forgot. All right. Do you like chocolate chip cookies? Most of us say yes, but some say no. I don't want any. Kathy says, thank you for the awesome live stream with the awesome people. Thank you, Kathy. You are the awesome people. Someone says, you're welcome, Kathy. Sir Milkman says, your house, LOL, Alabama again. You're going to Alabama? You're coming to my house? Come on over. We're a beach town. Come on over. Kathy Martin, thank you so very much. Mom Dog Molly, thank you. Thank you, Mom Dog Molly. Thank you, Kathy Martin, for the donations. Kathy says, yes, he did, but he didn't care. I was just a replaced number. Yeah, some people, that's all they care about. Numbers, making money. They don't care about if they hurt your feelings. They don't care if they make you feel like this big because, whatever reasons that they do that. I'll come down, but you're cooking. No way, dude. You're the chef. You're doing it. Kathy says, okay, I'm done venting. Kathy, do you feel better? I hope you do. Colleen says, half empty sub to you. Friends of Dashers and More is Colleen, everyone. Someone says, never mind. I retracted the message because I don't want to know that channel name. That's okay, Sona. We don't want to repeat it. Kathy says, sorry. Don't be sorry, Kathy. We love you. Half Empty says, thank you, friend. Thank you to everyone. Thank you too, Half Empty. Lisa says, everyone here is awesome. I came for friends. Me too. I came so I'm not so lonely. My husband works all day. I miss my family. Making some money on YouTube is an extra bonus. It's just a bonus. Kathy says, I don't want to be negative, but I do wish him well. You do know what I mean, Daisy. I do know what you mean. I do, Kathy. I know what you mean. You don't wish nothing bad for him. I know. Half Empty says, thank you, Kelly. You're amazing. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Half Empty. Kathy says, love you all. Someone says, Kathy, don't let it get to you. If you need a friend to talk to, I am here. Kathy says, thank you, Sono. I'm here too. We can all talk. We can all help each other, right? All right, folks. This girl's going to go have some food. Scrabble, please, when you're ready. Yes. Probably around 2 o'clock, Stuart. After lunch. After lunch, we'll have Scrabble, okay? Someone says, you're welcome, Kathy. All right. Sherbert says, hi, Fisherman's Lodge. Everybody check out the Fisherman's Lodge, too. Lisa says, I'm going to flirt with Sono on his next live. Oh, wait, I want to be there for that, Lisa. Kathy says, I'm very loyal. Me too, Kathy. Until I'm pushed to not be loyal, right? You push me too far. You think I'm that unimportant in your life? Then okay. Bye-bye. Fisherman's Lodge says, hey, Share Bear. Sono says, hi, Stuart. Stuart says, hello, Sono, my dearest brother. Sono says, hi, Lisa. LOL. Kathy says, love to you. Thank you, Kathy. Love to you too, girl. Stuart says, Sono, it's an EW for my name. Kathy says, have a great day. Love you, Daisy and friends. We love you, Kathy. Yogi, hi, Yogi. We're just getting ready to hang it up, but I want to say hi to Yogi. Yogi, how you doing today? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are way late today, you guys. Way late, but it's been so much fun talking to you guys today. Someone says, I may not go live on my computer because someone is restreaming me without my permission. What? Really, Sono? I'm going to go on live on my phone. Okay. Fisherman's Lodge says, hey, Yogster. Yogi says, I'm good. Glad I made it to say hi. I'm glad you did too, Yogi. I've been in your lives lately. Sometimes I say hello and sometimes I don't. But I'm in the 1 o'clock and I'm usually in the 5, 6 o'clock one. Usually I'm getting dinner ready at that time. But I am there supporting you as well, Yogi. So thank you. Yogi says, hey, Stuart. Sharebear says, hi, Yogi. Someone says, yes, it's really scary. Yogi says, hi, Sharebear. Yogi says, thanks, Daisy. Thank you, Yogi. I always stop in when I can. And even, whenever I can, I'll sit for a while. Lisa says, hey, everyone, she's going to send Ninja Daisy after us. Someone says, hi, Yogi. Hi, Yogi. One more look at the little Daisy Dukes, right? That's the little Daisy Dukes, you guys. That's the little Daisy Dukes. Yogi says, you always do, Stuart. Yogi says hi, Sono. Half Empty says hi, Yogi. Yogi says, glad I made to see little Daisy. Yeah, I thought I would show her to you real quick. Yep. We had a flooded patio yesterday, Yogi. Look at everything got all wet. All my cushions are wet. We had a torrential downpour, and the patio got flooded. Someone says, I have a watermark in my phone. I am safe. Oh, that's good. Fisherman's Lodge says, hey, Kathy. Fisherman's Lodge Stewart says, hey, Lisa. Yogi says, I heard you mention that. Sorry. Oh, thank you, Yogi. Yeah. We had a flood. It took me a long time to clean it up, too. Lisa says, hi, fisherman. All right, folks, we are going to go have some food. My stomach is rumbling and grumbling. We will be back later with Scrabble this afternoon, and we'll be back tonight with crossword puzzles if you would like to join us. Thank you, thank you. Colleen, Friends of Dasher, says sub to Roll Call's Cabin. Oh, you'll love Roll Call's Cabin. He's wonderful. He's wonderful. Sonal says, take care, Daisy. Thank you, Sonal. I look for you this afternoon. I look out for you guys during the day. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the love. 62 thumbs up. Everybody hit the like button. Take care, chat. All right, folks, we'll see you on the flip side. We'll be back this afternoon after lunch with Scrabble. Bye, Colleen. Fisherman's Lodge says, hey, Dasher. All right, folks, we'll see you later, okay? Have a great, wonderful day. Bye, everybody. Bye, everybody. Take care, okay? Thank you so much for the love today and the donations. Kathy and Mom's dog, Molly. Thank you. All right. We'll see y'all on the flip side. Bye, everybody.